Joining us tonight is Jake Rattlesnake.
I like to go by Lord Rattlesnake or Lord Jake, most base chat of all the lands.
You don't have an argument. Present your paper or shut up.
Everyone's view is definitely inherently biased. So this is when debate becomes very interesting. I can hear what you're saying, but then I can see that you're dressed as a cat.
I'm a dog.
You said you like to go play fetch.
I am wolf, yes.
So how does that tie into your relationship? Like, what are you looking for if you're a dog? Yeah, I think that John Jr. will be president one day. If I was a gambling man, I'd put money on that.
Founder of Rattlesnake TV, Jake.
Man, I really appreciate it, dude.
Ladies and gents, a warm welcome to you all today. Hope we're all doing fantastically well over here. Should have a good show for you today. We're going to be covering the rest of that Warren Smith debate with the Candy fan over there. And then maybe talking a bit about Andrew speaking with the TPUSA guys, a few of the other things that are going on at the moment. Candace openly said that Lindsay Clancy is not guilty, which is, I mean, it's full circle, guys. It's full circle. It's as bad as it gets. So it should be a good show, guys. Make sure you smash that like button on the way in. Important that we smash that like button. Subscribe to the channel, obviously, if you haven't already. And so I reckon we get straight into the meat and potatoes today, guys. I reckon we get straight into the meat and potatoes. Just a reminder that the Stream Elements link is pinned in the chat there, and it's much better to do it that way. You can do text to speech. If it's 20 and up, our Australian voiceover Russell reads it on screen straight away, so it's honestly an absolute bargain, and YouTube doesn't take a commission, so would appreciate that. And with that, guys, shall we get into it? Where we went yesterday. Now, we were getting into the part yesterday where this guy was saying we're going to get
evidence.
into the evidence.
Explain to me why. This isn't adding up. It's like the people that seem to, it feels like attacking.
If you guys don't know the context behind this, Warren Smith made a video, a very good video, by the way, you know, a very good video, very rational video where he's just looking at the logic of the debate. And then this dude here calls him out on X saying, calls him out and offers him a debate because obviously Warren has a big channel and everything. And it didn't go well for him so far. So far, Warren has just been basically dismissing all of the points so far, saying, okay, yeah, cool, whatever. How's this relevant to the debate? Okay, cool. How's this relevant to the video I made? You know, why was my video misleading? Why was my video misinformed, et cetera, et cetera. Hasn't gone well for him so far, but I was very keen to watch the rest of this with you guys.
Me are the people who just are certain and they can't explain to me why.
If we get into the evidence, I think it's going to become increasingly clear. While many of us, most of us, are not convinced that Tyler Robinson did this.
I'm not convinced Tyler Robinson did this, though. That doesn't mean Candace didn't lose the debate. What does that have to do with?
Okay, so what was Andrew there to
their
defend?
Claim best.
What was Andrew Wilson there to debate? Like, what was his position?
That there's more evidence to indicate Tyler Robinson pulled the trigger, way more evidence than to indicate he's a patsy.
And okay, so you
Are there wine mums on X saying that I know nothing about boxing? That would be funny. That would be pretty funny, guys. If there are. I don't really read comments on X exhaustively, if I'm honest. I just can't really keep up with it. But that would be kind of funny.
believe that he presented evidence.
He presented far more evidence than Candace, who presented no evidence.
Okay. Okay.
Do you disagree?
I disagree.
Okay. What's an example of evidence that Candace Owens provided?
I'm telling you what that evidence is. What you're talking about is physical somethings that she provided. That's not the only definition of evidence. Evidence is pointing to what has been provided and why it should not be trusted and why it's not, what's the word, credible. That's evidence in itself.
So give me an example
That's what I'm trying to get into. Like all of the pieces of evidence that you claim that Andrew Wilson, there is something wrong with just about every piece of the evidence.
So can we do it? Let's run through an example so I can see what you mean.
Sure.
So before this, from memory, this guy had said, well, he backs Candace's claim that she's 0% sure that Tyler Robinson was the shooter here, and that this all points to him being a patsy. So we're looking at the evidence for patsy here. But what I don't think that this guy understands, or maybe he does and is just being dishonest, is that in order to get to patsy, you need to have actual positive evidence that this man was framed for this, okay? So if you're looking at the DNA on the rifle, for example, that might mean that the DNA aspect of the prosecution's case is a little bit weaker, but then you would have to discount all of the other pieces of evidence that have been put forth. And not only would you have to discount them, you would have to make it clear to us that it is a logical impossibility that any of those could be evidence for Tyler Robinson being the shooter. And then after that, you would have to, once you've discounted all them, logical impossibility, you would then have to make the case that it's not just a case that they've got the wrong guy here, it's that he's being actively set up as a patsy. That's what you'd have to do here. It's such a ridiculous burden, and that's why I think that Warren Smith is actually kind of chilling with this one, and he's pretty happy to do this conversation and take it where it will, because he understands the logic and the burden. He understands burden of proof, right? And he understands that the burden that this guy and Candace have put on themselves. So what I think is going to happen is that he's probably just going to get into a bunch of meta conversations about the various different anomalies and weird things or whatever it is, and the things that he's asking questions about. But none of that is ever going to actually lead you to positive evidence for patsy. So
the images of Tyler, or supposedly Tyler Robinson, on campus. Do we have any confirmed images of Tyler Robinson?
I don't believe anything's confirmed yet. The trial hasn't started.
Right. So remember, the debate happened before the trial. Our conversation right now is happening before the trial. So we're going based on what's been presented so far.
Right. But if you're going to claim that you're 100% sure he didn't pull the trigger, and I ask you why, you can't just say, hey, because that might not be him in the footage.
Fair. But what I'm stating is I'm not convinced. I don't want to be here.
I'm not convinced either. What does that have to do with anything?
So fair. So that we have an understanding. I'm not here to defend Candace's position. I'm here to defend.
I thought you were. I'm sorry. Go ahead then.
No, you're fine. But no, I'm not here to defend Candace's position. I'm here. If we want to discuss the debate in your video, then by all means, of course, I'd love to do that. I wanted to defend or have a conversation around the way in which you framed the quote unquote debate between the two of them.
Okay. What does that mean?
You're claiming that she didn't provide any evidence, and my position is, as if you're taking the position of the defense, your job is to present reasonable doubt.
If you're taking the position I'm not taking the position of the state or the defense. I'm looking at the data just like you are, and stating what I believe is the most rational assessment. That is my claim. You're presenting what you believe is the most rational assessment based on the data. That's your claim. We both defend our claims. Explain why.
For sure. When I said you,
logic to do that.
I agree, and I'm very logical, so I can appreciate that. When I said you, I didn't mean Warren. I meant Andrew, because that's the person.
No way. No way. Look at Warren's face. Look at his face. That is funny. That is funny. Guys, the structure of that sentence was absolutely amazing. The structure of that sentence was absolutely amazing. I am very logical. And when I say you, I mean Andrew. I'm very logical. And when I say you, I mean Andrew. Oh my gosh, amazing.
When I said you,
logic, we both defend our claims. Explain why.
For sure. When I said you,
logic to do that.
I agree, and I'm very logical, so I can appreciate that. When I said you, I didn't mean Warren. I meant Andrew, because that's the person that debated Candace.
Okay, but they negotiate. Hang on, I'm sorry, but okay, I thought you meant in our debate. That's what.
Joe Mimo says that was beautifully stupid. Oh, I love this shit.
Be the case.
No, no,
In
no.
their case, they had to negotiate ahead of time because there's all this money and stipulations and restrictions. They had very specific language negotiated. So we know what those claims are, hands down.
Right. What I'm stating is that Andrew Wilson took the position of the state. He said it himself at the very beginning.
Okay.
So that means he has
took
to
the position
provide-
of himself.
Okay, I get what you, yeah.
Yeah, he's taken the position of the state, that is to say, quote unquote, prosecuting Tyler Robinson.
He believes Tyler Robinson,
Correct.
that is the most plausible scenario based on the evidence.
Right. And my understanding, because I don't want to speak for Candace, since we're talking about the debate at this particular juncture.
Great to see a lot of the Candy Delulu cultists in the chat today, guys. Great to see all the haters, Cantifa, the Candy Can fans. Great to see you all today. Welcome to the chat. I hope you're all having a lovely day over there in Delulu land. I hope you're all having a great day, night, whatever it is over there in Feelings land. Welcome. Looking forward to hearing about your intuitions today. Looking forward to reading about all of your dreams and all of your ambitions for life. I know you guys all have a twinkle in your eye. So welcome, guys. Just welcome. Looking forward to hearing all of your concerns. Looking forward to hearing about who is and isn't a Fed, these sorts of things. Good to have you all.
The video, my understanding from Candace's point of view is that based on what's been provided, she does not believe that Tyler Robinson did this. She believes that he is a patsy.
I got that. Yeah.
Okay.
Was there a question about that?
No.
Guys, sometimes I was actually hearing this. Was it on the Paramount Tactical? I was enjoying that Paramount Tactical interview with Andrew before. That's why I pushed the stream back a fair bit. But I think they were talking about like sports, and that somebody had a friend who's, maybe it was Culvert one. He had a friend who's a tennis player and said it's much harder to play against really low-level tennis players because they can't even return the serve. And it's very similar with boxing. I would much rather spar someone, or kickboxing, for example. I would much rather spar someone who's a professional and who's had a bunch of fights, because you're going to be able to just get in some nice rounds. They're not going to try and kill you. It's going to probably be quite light. They know how to pull back and temper their punches and everything. And it's going to be much more technical, and you're going to be able to practice things, right? But when you fight someone who is a total novice, they get angry, they see red, they're going to be throwing really hard punches, they've got something to prove, they're still trying to get over that feeling inside of them that is questioning whether they're a coward or whether they're brave, which happens to every single man. And so they're trying to knock your head off a lot of the time. And a lot of the times, if they are doing that and you're being more relaxed, they're going to connect with a few. Whereas the pros and the more high-level fighters, they'll temper their punches, pull back their punches and everything. So it's sort of similar with debate here. It's you get lost in the weeds of, you don't actually understand what they're saying. What's your point? Land the plane. What's the premise? What's the conclusion here? And I can see Warren having quite a difficult time with this. Whereas if this guy was able to actually logically lay out his view, it would be a lot better to watch. Now, guys, nearly 15 minutes through, and I can hardly believe we've got zero grift happening besides Rez here, who says there's plenty of positive evidence that this guy's an idiot. If you're talking about me, Rez, that is true. There is plenty of positive evidence that I am an idiot. That's true.
Oh, it's just, I don't know if this is about semantics or if we're just talking past each other on this point. Yeah.
Delve into it, man. What do you mean?
I'm wanting to get into the evidence, right? So I think once we actually delve into the evidence, which I don't think they did a great enough job in the debate of doing.
I agree, man. I mean, there's a lot of room a lot of ground I would have liked them to cover.
Sure.
But I understand there were other things Andrew wanted to get to as well. So when I'm analyzing this in my video, I'm only focusing on the portion that was around the two claims, which is really that first, we'll call it third, before they move on, and kind of he cross-exams, she cross-exams, and that went into other just topics and that are related to it, but that they got away from the claims. So anyways, let's
Sure.
proceed.
I would like to ask you a question though. So when you say Candace provided 0% evidence, can you give me an example of what would have been quote unquote evidence?
Yeah, so surveillance footage, a confession, DNA, finding a gun, those would be examples of evidence.
Wait, hold up. But all those things are not clear in itself, right?
What do you mean those
So
things are not clear in itself?
What you're calling evidence, there is. So, for example, I just asked you, what would you have considered evidence that Candace could have sort of presented?
Yeah, so for example, evidence indicating Tyler Robinson was at a different location.
Which exists.
So evidence that he has an alibi and that he wasn't there, right? But what he's done there is he's just named all of the positive evidence on the other side of the gun, of the confession, of the messages, of all those sort of pieces of actual evidence.
Okay, well, you can present that. So
the whole smokehouse restaurant ordeal, are you familiar with that?
Our conversation, treat this as though I know nothing, and I'm going from the debate. I'm gaining my information from because I'm not I haven't been following this super extensively. I was just trying to give my analysis of the debate. From the debate, my understanding is there's a question over whether, based on the receipt, that information is verified.
Sure.
But yeah, you can explain it more.
So I took some notes, and I'm gonna just go down the timeline for this situation. So at 8:55 p.m., they claimed that Tyler Robinson ordered a dinner at a restaurant called Cowboys Smokehouse. Now at 9:57 p.m., he pays his bill, and then he leaves the restaurant. It's a 3-hour drive, 2 hours, 57 minutes to be exact.
Yeah, but the thing is, we don't have any evidence for that. And that got exposed during the debate. That the whole steakhouse thing, there was no evidence for it.
From UVU, and that's the shortest route possible.
And guys, just remember, the defense is not arguing that Tyler Robinson was not there. At this stage, they're not even really arguing that there's any sort of mistaken identity, that he wasn't on that roof, that it wasn't his gun, that it wasn't him sending the messages or anything like this. What they are trying to do is get the death penalty off the table. And there's some more, revelations that have come out just recently about that over the last 24 hours or so. And they're trying to target things like the matching the bullet to the gun and also the DNA to create some sort of a reasonable doubt. They're not going to be able to do this. It's going to go to trial, obviously. And I think that the likelihood at the moment looks like the death penalty will remain on the table. But this whole smokehouse thing, this steakhouse, if there was an alibi for Tyler Robinson, do you guys think that maybe the defense would have brought that up in the pretrial hearing? I think they probably would have. But this guy knows something that they don't.
The alleged text that they claim was sent between Tyler Robinson and Lance Twiggs begins at 11 p.m. Now, it's important to state that the first text message that was at 11 p.m., according to the charging documents, was a scheduled text, which means it's going to get sent out regardless of the physical location of Tyler Robinson.
Yeah, so can I get some confirmation on this, guys? So Fran Taylor over here saying this guy is a wacko conspiracy dude. I heard him talking to Jesse on Fire, and they believe this was all planned and that Charlie is still alive. When I heard that, I left the podcast, OMG. Yeah, I listened to about 2 or 3 minutes of that exchange, and they were basically saying that the cameraman is implicated. Well, first of all, if he's still alive and it's all a setup, then implicated in what exactly? If there wasn't a murder. But is that true? Can somebody actually confirm that for me, that this guy really does believe that Charlie Kirk could still be alive and this was all a setup?
Robinson, obviously. So, but they state that Robinson was allegedly stopped by a patrolman.
Thank you to the grifters coming in and saying, your mum's legs with the 20. Always love to see your mum's legs in the light of day. Andrea says, I think everyone's watching Andrew right now. Lol, love you, Jake. Love you too, bro. And yes, that is true. And fair enough. And fair enough. He's the man of the hour at the moment. He's the man in the arena at the moment.
Mrs. DI tipped $50. DI needs a long smoko. Mods, time DI out for 10 minutes.
Wow.
Come on, Smarto. So leave me alone.
Rez says, I'm surprised we haven't heard the smoke alarm chirp go off in DD room.
In Utah, Orem, to be exact, at 12:30 a.m. So Robinson's presence in Panguitch, which is where
Thank
the
you, though,
restaurant
Misty.
was,
Appreciate that.
makes it impossible for him to have sent a real-time update text message at 11 p.m. and be stopped by police at 12:30 a.m. Now, it's important to also state that
simplify that for me so I can understand why his physical location
because
would prevent the
Yeah. So it was a scheduled message that went out at 11 p.m. But my understanding was that he continued to text after that. The problem is he was 3 hours away, and there are witnesses that say that they saw him at this restaurant, and there is a supposed.
So it's just hearsay there, and there is no supporting evidence for this besides what Candace Owens tells you she heard. But I don't think, obviously, Warren doesn't seem like he's overly familiar with the case. I mean, a lot of us aren't, but this is not true. This is not an established part of the case.
Receipt that needs to be verified. I will state that the receipt needs to be verified with the last four numbers of the card. But there is a witness. There are two witnesses that state that they saw Tyler Robinson at this restaurant, which is by definition, according to Andrew Wilson, positive evidence. The issue is it's a 3-hour drive. The police testified that they stopped him, Tyler Robinson, at 12:30 a.m. That therefore he can't be at two places at once. Does that make sense?
Okay, so the claim is if these two people did see him, then the police are lying.
Somebody's lying.
Okay.
He was one of the other places.
Where did this come from?
The smokehouse interview.
Where did this information come from?
Sure. So I don't know where its original source came from, but
maybe Warren does know about this and he's just getting this guy to sort of like dig himself a hole here.
The employee at the restaurant has been interviewed on camera by, I believe his name is Diligent Denizen on Twitter. Interviewed the customer in the restaurant with their gear on, and they stated that they saw Tyler Robinson, and they were not the person that served Tyler Robinson. He was at the bar. He ordered the steak.
When you say with their gear on,
I'm sorry, with their work shirt, with their employee.
Oh.
Now, I think that if I had a steakhouse, perhaps it might be a good little marketing strategy. A lot of people would be wanting to come to the steakhouse. Lots of free advertising. I mean, maybe they wanted to get their steakhouse on Candace Owens' show, so now everybody knows the steakhouse and everybody wants to go there. How do we know? If we're inferring motives, guys, if we're assuming motives here, and if we're psychologizing, how do we know that this isn't a very, very savvy marketing ploy?
Okay, so that's interesting. So what does that indicate to you when they're wearing? I'm sorry, I was being sarcastic. So, okay. Okay, so Diligent Denizen,
correct,
conducted an investigation, interviewed person with the work shirt. They said,
"Oh my
saw
God,
him."
a person with the work shirt,
someone who works there, right?
Correct, an employee.
Okay, and no one else has followed. No news outlets have looked
Lauren's got a point there. Person with work shirt.
Into this, and no, the defense hasn't. Is there any indication anyone else has looked into this?
Great question. As of right now, I don't know with the defense because we've only had the preliminary hearing. I don't know if it's going to be presented during the trial, but
okay,
it's the confirmed video. I can send it to you if you want me to.
Cool.
And this person confirmed that they saw Tyler Robinson. And it's two witnesses that claim that they saw Tyler Robinson. So something's wrong here.
There could be, man. I mean, there is potential there.
Well, there is no could be. If he can't be in both. It's 3 hours apart. So
if
clearly
this is
something's
true,
wrong.
So why did Candace not? That's really important. It seems that's would be the best piece of evidence. So why not confirm that? Why go into that debate without this being confirmed?
Well, hold on. They did discuss this.
In the debate, they discussed this. Yes. Yeah. And my understanding was that it wasn't confirmed.
Well, I think they were talking about the receipt itself.
Which is the confirming piece of evidence that you would need. I mean, even that, not necessarily, but yes, not confirmed.
The receipt was confirmed.
No.
The witnesses themselves are not in question. It's the receipt itself that is waiting to be confirmed, from my understanding.
The witnesses themselves are anonymous people. They could have any sorts of motives at all.
Yeah, because the predicament we're going to run up to is how do we know this is not just two people making this up? Obviously, that's the question. So there has to be some.
But then I agree with you, Warren, but you're going to have to be consistent and say that about the entire preliminary hearing.
I agree. Yeah,
Well, that makes it not evidence then. Would you agree? If it's up in question?
That makes what not?
All the things that were most of the things mentioned during the preliminary hearing. Because it was hearsay.
Everything needs to be verified. So everything is hearsay. So, okay. What is hearsay? Can you explain it to me?
Well, hold on. I didn't say everything. Let's be clear with our language. Majority of the things in the preliminary hearing was considered hearsay. Hearsay as in Tom is not present.
Okay.
So I'm going to speak on behalf of Tom.
All right. So the message sent to his boyfriend saying, "Hey, you're going to see me on the security footage." Is that hearsay?
The message
when he says when he's talking to his boyfriend, his lover or whatever, and he's like, "You're going to see me on the security footage." Remember that came up in the debate?
Yeah, I'm familiar with you. I'm trying to think about if I want to call that hearsay.
It's not a matter of if you want to call that hearsay. That's evidence. That is positive evidence. You've got Tyler Robinson saying it to his boyfriend. So I kind of agree with a lot of people that are saying these debates are pretty futile, especially with people like this. Like this guy just wants to get into the meta of all of these different things that he finds strange. They're all just about how he feels about various different things. Steakhouse, completely not verified. We should be really looking closely at all the things that are actually mentioned in the hearing that they're using as evidence. Like, futile at the end of the day, honestly. The text messages and the gun and the DNA and these sorts of things, the security camera footage, him saying he did it, the confessions and everything, they're all positive evidence. You need your own positive evidence to counteract this. And then furthermore, to make it a logical impossibility that the state's case could be correct, you need the sort of positive evidence that would prove it logically impossible. Not just to question the evidence and say, well, that's funny. Or we had two random people out at a steakhouse who said that they saw him. What's the evidence of that? Well, we just random anonymous people being interviewed. And now millions of people have heard about their steakhouse. I can't find any other motives that they might have, by the way, guys.
I mean, I guess not really, though, because we have a picture of the phone. Here's the issue with that. Let's talk about that evidence. So, number one, we don't even have the device itself. That's a problem. Not to mention that the defense was not allowed to look at these things prior to the preliminary hearing.
Can I ask you itself? What do you mean we don't have the device, therefore it's a problem? Like, who's we?
My understanding is that...
Good question.
In the evidence...
Jungle tipped $100. Necessarily I 600% confirm that this super chat will be read by the man, not the myth, and the legend himself, Mr. Rattlesnake. He deserves this and I'm here for it. One love, brother, from the jungle. N1SB.
Jungle
Keep up
F.
the good work, my good sir.
What a legend. He says, 600% confirmed this super chat will be read by the man, not the myth, and the legend himself, Mr. Rattlesnake. Mr. Coombe, actually, Jungle. He deserves this and I'm here for it. One love, brother, from the jungle. Not one step back. Keep up the good work, my sir. Jungle has been an unbelievable supporter, guys. Not only a legend in person, but also just a great supporter over the years. I mean, with the Thanksgiving drives, he was absolutely incredible with those things. So, Jungle, always appreciate the support, man. Really appreciate that. Haven't seen you in a while, though. We need to have a phone call soon, man. Catch up. Appreciate you, bro.
Itself, whoever has it, the state, my understanding is that they do not have the physical phone. Instead, they have what they call, Celebrate. They went through that process of extracting the messages, and then they took
That was a good question by Warren when he said, what do you mean by we?
Picture of Lance Twiggs' phone.
Where are you getting this from?
The charging documents.
So you don't think that anyone has the actual phone of Tyler Robinson? You don't
The
think
charging
that's...
documents has not made that clear. In fact, what was
Okay.
shown during the preliminary hearing was a photo of Lance Twiggs' phone, which, by the way, the screen was cracked conveniently in the place where you can see the timing displayed on the phone. So therefore, we can't even see the timing displayed on the phone.
What do you mean by timing?
Whatever time it was that this picture was supposedly taken.
Okay. So when I hear that, I'm going to take a guess that the state has the phone secured. The screen happened to be cracked. And for whatever reason, that's the information that was in that specific document. I'm not sure how you look at the same information you just gave me and jump to, it's problematic that we don't have the phone, and we can't take that as evidence without we having the phone. Like,
this condescending way.
Condescending. There's a reason it's condescending, my friend. There's a reason it's condescending, because you sound like an idiot. I think I was just right, guys. I commented on his post, and I've never been a big defender.
Jungle tipped $100. Yeah, bro. Call me anytime. I've been busy in the jungle, but always available for a catch-up. Planning to zoom over to your side of the world next year. Introduce me to some Kangos, lol.
Oh, shit. Jungle up in Oz. You know that the hospitality will be the best of the best, my friend. The best of the best. Best of the breast? Best of the best. And DebateCon 11. I'm just going to have to be there, guys. It's in February. I can't miss another one. I was getting severe FOMO last time. So I've absolutely got to be there, I think. Appreciate you though, Jungle. Jungle also, by the way, guys, the legend offered me to stay in his place for multiple weeks as well last time I was in the United States. So just helping out the cause wherever he can. Appreciate the big guy. Anyway, this guy, I was right about this guy when I said, look, man, you're just dumb. Sorry, you are just stupid. And that's why Warren isn't being intentionally condescending. He's just grappling with stupidity right now. And when you're grappling with stupidity, you should treat it as such.
Way of you saying we I'm clocking what you're doing, bro.
It's good. I'm just trying to spice it up, man. Speed things up. It's not personal.
Fair. No, fair.
Yeah, you came out and you called him dishonest and everything. What is being passive aggressive and bitchy better than being mildly condescending? You came out and said he was dishonest and that he was suffering from all sorts of cognitive dissonance and everything. I would rather someone say, Jake, you're retarded, than go and be all passive aggressive and shit about it and make a post online about it.
I understand. So we don't have the point is just that.
That's it. Jungle, you also got to get your lady, Miss D, offering some great Southern hospitality as well.
Jungle tipped $100. You need to tango with the Shaprillo at DB11. We'll be there, and you absolutely better be. Quit running, Jake.
I did. I had to run from the last one. Look, I think that Brian Shapiro doesn't want the smoke anymore, guys. I'm pretty sure he has totally backed off and just does not want the smoke anymore, because he tried and he's just been so relentlessly and ruthlessly mocked that I think he's moving on. He doesn't even reply to me anymore. The guy has literally yielded. He's just put his hands up and said, okay, I yield. That's pretty much what's happened so far, which is pretty hilarious. So I might have to find a different one, guys. Maybe it'll be not so erudite. Guys, can you imagine if I did not so erudite? Something like that. But yes, Jungle, you come down to Melbourne. You're going to get the Mr. D and Miss D hospitality down there. I'm sure that they'll cook you some crazy Croatian food or something like that. And then come up north, brother, and we got you. We've nearly got that top one filled. Guys, it's been so long. I literally can't remember the last time we got the Stream Elements tip goal filled up. I think the last time might have been Jungle.
From my understanding, what we as the public, what's been provided to us by way of the preliminary hearing, as far as what we know to be
Is he
currently
attacking Max? Is Brian Shapiro attacking Max? Is that true? Oh, man. We need to get Max on his show. Max Pacheco is a very promising young fella, you know? And, actually funny. Max, I think he's now working with a chapter of TPUSA. He released some good news the other day. Very promising young fella. And actually a very smart kid as well. So Max actually helped me out with my last debate. We were going through some arguments before I debate. I can't remember what the guy's name is who I debated, that nerd.
Jungle tipped $500. Now you don't have to worry about forgetting this time around. Sleep well, my good sir.
Jungle, an absolute gentleman of the highest order. Appreciate you, brother. Very, very humbled there by that enormous tip. Thank you, my friend. Appreciate that. But Jungle's saying here that he's moving on to attacking Max. I mean, Max would tear Brian Shapiro a new one. We need to get Max on Brian's show, get him to do a call in, and I'll cover it here. I'll watch it after it and cover it here because Max is a sharp kid. I can't remember what the guy's name who is I debated at DebateCon, the nerd atheist guy. But Max was taking me through a few arguments. He's like, man, I've watched this guy stream. You can get him here, you can get him here. And actually, Max was the one who told me about the argument that he makes that in Christian states, the STD rates are much higher, and I knew he was going to bring that up. And so Max goes, man, if he brings that up, just call him a racist because like that's because they have much higher black populations in those states. And then I called him a racist, and he was furious. He brought it up and said, there's more STDs in those places. And I said, well, that's very racist of you because that's the black community. Oh, he was furious. It was a beautiful moment. All right.
In evidence, my understanding is that we do not have the physical phone.
Okay.
My
So what
understanding
would
is
that?
that they took a picture of the phone.
So what would that look like for us to adequately have the physical phone? For you to be happy with this example of this evidence?
Well, wait, what do you mean by that?
So when you say it's problematic because we don't have the physical phone at this stage, what would it look like in a scenario where you would be happy?
Well, like if, I don't know, like, so in the preliminary hearing itself, if they displayed the phone and went through the text messages in the court.
In the preliminary hearing? Okay.
And maybe you're right, there's probably not standard procedure in the preliminary hearing, but the point is, had that taken place, being that it hasn't taken place as of yet, all we know based on the charging document is that the phone, a picture of the phone and extrapolated text messages is what, based on what they've told us, right? That's what we've been. And I have to say this for the record, outside of the fact that the text messages themselves are.
I'm just looking on Discord now. Jungle sent me their back and forth with Brian. Very good. Go, Max. Good man. Not one step back.
Extremely strange. Would you agree with that? I understand. I'm not saying strange text messages
it's
means
strange to shoot someone. So I wouldn't surprise me if this is a strange guy, but I get your point. Yeah, the language is strange. There's a lot of strange things about this. Would you agree? It is if you shoot someone, you're.
I agree.
Would it be surprising if there's things about you that are very strange? Dating someone, a furry, is.
Good point. Yeah, it's like these people are all sitting here expecting Tyler Robinson, who's literally banging a dude and banging some furry dude, some trans furry, right? And who's just murdered someone. They expect him to be in his pure, rational, sober mind, guys. It's so weird that a guy like that would do something strange that you wouldn't do. I wouldn't do that. Yeah. No, I also wouldn't be banging trans furries, okay? I also wouldn't be climbing on a rooftop and assassinating somebody. So excuse us for thinking, yeah, this guy might be inclined to do a few odd things here and there.
Strange.
I agree.
So speaking in Old English, when you write love letters.
So we're expected to believe, Warren, and I'm curious to hear what you'll say to this, because for somebody.
Talus came in for 10 over on Stream Elmsing. Have you seen Army Novak's parody of the debate yet? It's a few minutes long. Army, yes. And it's worth the watch, yeah. I have seen it. I've been friends with Army for a while now. Army Kozak, I think it is. just like got him on Instagram and everything. And he is a funny dude. I really enjoy his parodies. We might check it out soon.
That's so.
But it is 20 and up on Stream Elements over there, guys. I will say, just if you want it text to speech, but I will still read them if it's under.
Vince Tyler, you seem to have every reasonable explanation as of some pushback to how it's possible that he didn't do it. So we're
just trying to think rationally about these things, and not jump to a conclusion. But I'm giving you my honest, rational assessment, not based on defending Andrew Wilson or I'm taking this side. This is not about sides. It's about rationality.
And just know this, guys. The reason why I respect Warren's take on this a lot is because it takes some serious balls for him to come out with his large audience, the amount of numbers that he does, and take an extremely divisive stance like this. And so, I may not have had the most respect for him before it, but now I do, okay? Because he gets these huge numbers, right? He's a very successful YouTuber. A lot of it because his researchers will say, use Rattlesnake TV's stuff. Anyway, it doesn't matter about any of that. We're not going to be petty and bitter about things. Okay? We're not going to be petty. But, for him to come out and take this stance, it's very, just viscerally unpopular with a lot of people. So he's going to get a lot of people unsubscribing. He's going to get a lot of hate. He's going to get a lot of people downvoting and everything. And it really could affect his channel. So the financially intelligent thing for Warren Smith to do is to keep the big tent, because he's kind of a big tent guy. He's not that outspoken about very divisive issues like this. So the best thing for him to do would have been to take a very neutral stance on that and be like, look, I'm just going to sort of sit on the fence here. No, he didn't. He came out and said Candace basically had nothing. Let's look at the logic. So he's got my respect for that. That took balls, and it's not a wise thing to do if you're thinking about dollars.
So, all right, fair. So it's very interesting that we're expected to believe that a gentleman with a 4.0, or I think higher than a 4.0 GPA, supposedly
my
pulled
GPA
this
is not
off.
4.0.
And then, say it again?
My GPA was not 4.0. I'm
Yours?
sorry. No, I thought you were nothing. Never mind. I was making a joke. Go ahead.
Okay, yeah. No, Tyler Robinson's
I got you.
4.0 GPA or higher, extremely brilliant guy, was trying to get away, but kind of wanted to get caught. But he's going to send text messages extremely detailed of every single thing that he supposedly did. Every response from what's his name, Lance Twiggs, is very short and sweet. But every other reply that's extremely strange.
I got you.
That we're expected to believe he did that.
Yeah, I find it stranger and more difficult to believe that if Israel or whatever government wanted to assassinate a Charlie Kirk, let's say Mossad is going to assassinate Charlie Kirk, an organization that is known for being able to kill people very efficiently and make it look like suicide and cut their brakes, that they would do so in the most public assassination in history or recent history, or it's a state.
I don't know, maybe this is a black person thing, guys. I could be missing something here, but this guy has watched so much of Candace Owens that he actually has to do the pursed lips every time he's trying to condescend to someone, going like that. Look, watch.
Or recent history, it's a state plan.
Could just be a thing with the brothers and sisters that I'm not aware of. But to me, I see it all the time. Basically, the Candace Owens fans aren't really their own people. They're not really their own humans. They have all of the same mannerisms and everything, and all of the women speak in the same way, in the same like soul grinding woman speak.
Or if they get caught, the ramifications for the geopolitical relationship between their nation and the rest of the world would be affected. Their country, the ramifications would be difficult to even articulate. But they're not going to make it look like a car accident. Instead, they're going to do this. I find that strange.
Watch him now infer the motives. That's what I think is going to happen. I'm just going to predict it here. He's going to say, well, you have to do it maybe as publicly as possible, so it sends a message to anybody else who tries to go against them.
Than what you just described.
I understand. Hey, Warren, name one person in this debate right now, this conversation, whoever stated that that's the alternative. I've never said that.
What?
So can you explain the theory that he's a patsy? What do you think is What do you think is the larger theory behind that?
I think this guy thinks he's still alive.
Don't know.
One?
I don't know.
These are my favorite ones. I'm so disappointed in you, Jake, as a fellow Aussie. You've lost a fan. No. No. Please, person who I've never seen before or never interacted with, has never sent me a message, has never been in the live chat before. It's the first time I'm ever seeing you. Please come back. Baby, come back. You can blame it all on me. That's all right, guys. I'm not going to get into too much singing today. Okay. Promise you guys, I'm going to spare your ears today. I won't get into too much singing. But baby, come back. Please, person who has never come into my view before, come back. So many of them at the moment, guys. Oh, Jake, I used to be a fan and now I'm unsubscribed. I'm so disappointed in you. Okay. Like, that's actually a time when I should say, okay, you're not my dad. Like, that's what I should do, the Candace thing. Okay, you're not my dad. Okay? Whatever your name is, you're not my daddy. Okay? You don't have to be disappointed in me. You can call me retarded. That would be a lot better.
Okay, but
What I care about is the actual case.
Like, if he's a patsy, and all of this is if the police are lying and that receipt is real.
But see, you're
the
doing
power
the thing again.
structure that would require that. You haven't thought about that and what that would mean?
Sure. I've thought about it
So
a
then
lot.
why, if the power structure is that large, why would they do this to take
I've thought
out
about all
Charlie?
of that.
Jomi is on fire today. Goes, was that an angel I just heard? It was a mixture of Fergie and Jesus, the songbird of our generation.
Okay, so then can you lay it out for me?
Well, yeah, I can lay out what I think, but I want to talk about the actual case, bro. I want to talk about the actual evidence. Trying to get somebody on a theory that we think
we were
may
just
have
talking
happened.
about what was strange. You were just
why is that
pointing out things that are strange.
Yeah, like the evidence, like the pictures of his car. We don't even have clear footage of his car. Would you agree with that as well?
Don't tell me that this whole thing is going to be like a meta debate about things that he finds strange. That the defense never brought up, but things that this guy finds strange. Is that what it's going to be all about? That would point to him being a patsy? Or is he going to lay out an actual theory at some point? So what these people, so frustrating about these people, what do you think happened? And if you do think it's a patsy, for example, then what is the actual evidence for that? And give me the logical chain, okay? And not just, well, this thing doesn't really make sense to me. This one aspect of this piece of evidence doesn't make sense to me, so he must be, without a shadow of a doubt, 100% a patsy. I'd love to see the logical chain to that, guys.
I'm not. I don't.
Charmy Plus says, "I'm so impressed by you, Jake. You've gained a fan." You know what? I've actually appreciated that recently, guys. I have gained a few, especially with the troll that we did the other week, and just showed how ridiculously stupid these people are, like outrageously stupid. They are quite literally click whores. These people. Okay, this Project Constitution. I should call him Project Prostitution. It's because he's a prostitute for clicks, right? And, you know, I guess everyone got to make it somehow. But this guy was literally, it has been, and I've noticed this for months now, and I've called him out on it a bunch of times. He obviously didn't pay attention. Like, I've ripped into him on Twitter a bunch of times. Didn't notice that Andrew's one of my best friends. And obviously, if you come for one of my best friends, I'm going to humiliate you in the worst way possible. Okay? Porky Pig got absolutely cooked. Someone better go stick a fork in his ass. Like the Porky Pig that he is, because he's cooked. Anyway. Yeah. Didn't do any research into it and is willing to post absolutely anything, publish absolutely anything. Same with Jimmy Dore, for example. These guys will post anything just to be first, just to have a scoop, just to have a breaking story. These guys are worse than any paparazzi ever was. Even back in their heyday, worse than any paparazzi ever was. So yeah, man, I think a lot of people have seen that and been like, I appreciate the fact that you guys are able to go and expose them. And like, we use humor, we use satire, but we also use logic, guys. We use rhetoric and humor and satire and trolling, but underlying that, the foundation of that is a logical worldview. And I think a lot of people are seeing that, and a lot of people recognize that, and they think, okay, well, you've gained a fan, so I appreciate that. He's an admitted conspiracy theorist, so anything that contradicts the official narrative is plausible, even though their theories often contradict. Yeah, oftentimes these people, their whole entire worldview will be, well, that comes from the government, so that can't be true. It's like, Well, the government solves murder cases all the time, you know? The state, like, we have to be based in some sort of a reality here. You know, Western institutions are not the worst. You know, you go to places like Cambodia and you'll be in prison for 9 years and you'll be eating cockroaches and you have no human rights or anything like that. And they don't, it's just, there's one guy who accidentally broke an ATM, an Australian guy. He was in there for years. He did an interview with Ali Tabrizi and he got gang raped in a Cambodian prison, was eating cockroaches, was sick. It's like, Western institutions are actually pretty good. So can we try and operate from the paradigm that we already have? And this constant well poisoning, this constant genetic fallacy of, well, it comes from the government, so it must be fed slop. It's like, can we be discerning and can we actually assess the information that we've got in front of us without this preconceived bias there? That's where it goes off the rails after a while. I can understand why people would have a very diminished trust in institutions and in government and everything after all of the lies. Like, I get that, but we don't want to just burn it all to the ground, guys. Because I can guarantee you the alternatives, there's a lot of alternatives and they're a lot worse. Heads or Tails says, my source tells me Charlie is with Biggie, Tupac, and Elvis. Living in Atlantis. The funny part is that's as rational as their worldview. Zappaliba says, I can rationally believe a Tyler Robinson ate at a steakhouse. There's got to be thousands of Tyler Robinson in the country, even with a receipt with that name on it doesn't mean shit. We've seen that one. Dee Dee Smiling in the comments reminds me of Jackie Chan smiling when pretending not to understand English in Rush Hour, but I think Dee Dee really doesn't. And Kobar says, if we can't agree who won that debate, or at minimum see what Andrew's point was, we are doomed. This is why wars happen. How can two countries agree if we can't agree between Andrew and Candace? Yeah. It's just sort of an indictment of where we've gotten, guys, in terms of the political discourse, unfortunately. And look, I spoke to Andrew on the phone last night for about half an hour. It was the first time we've caught up in ages because he's obviously been so busy with everything. And, we had a good laugh about the project prostitution troll and everything, and I congratulated him and said well done on everything. But also, one of my messages was, man, like, thank you so much for helping me over the years to like sort of formulate my worldview and help me understand logic. Thank you for destroying me so many times on the extravaganza, but mostly in our personal discussions. When we'd have a phone call, or when we're on a road trip going and doing the podcast tour and everything, we'd have these long, interesting conversations, and he'd walk me through logic chains and how to use logic and train me up. And then every time I'd have a debate, we'd do training for it for like a few hours beforehand, and he'd help me formulate my arguments and make them airtight, help me falsify my arguments and everything. So my thing was like, I was like, man, thank you. Because God knows where I'd be right now if I didn't have that. So like, I'm glad that I'm able to look at these situations now in a much more sober-minded way than I, would have when I first started. And it's there's a reason why I'm such a big proponent of his debates, and particularly of him in this situation. It's because like I understand the game now, and it's not like a you feel I feel sort of thing. Jay Dyer explained this on his review, and he's saying, look, debate and logic and these sorts of things aren't just things we make up. That like logic would fall into one of those transcendental categories. And there are reasons why you want to go by logic. It's because it's like a chess game, and you can't just grab your castle and move diagonally in chess, or you can't just take a shit on the chessboard or just flip the table, which is basically what these people do. You have to, formulate your view in accordance with the rules of the game. And if you don't do that, then you're committing fallacies. And this is what fallacies are. They're wrong moves, and that's not how you play the game. There are rules to the game. So anyway, I think the vast majority of the people in the chat, besides the Cantifa, will understand that. And maybe even those guys who are really on that side, maybe they understand it, but they're in too deep. And even if you are somebody who's, been on that train, it's okay for you to now look at the logic of it all and to look at the evidence presented and everything and change your mind. Nobody's going to judge you, at all. Okay? If you're looking at it like, all right, well, perhaps I was wrong about this. I'm going to come over to the side of rationale and truth and reality-based discourse over here. That's fine. You can do that. Nobody's going to judge you. We all make mistakes, okay? I've made plenty of them. Clarrington says, Jake, I used to be a fan. You've lost me too. Now I support the hard work you do. Keep it up, you drongo. Keep it up, you drongo, Clarrington. You absolute drongo mongrel.
Think so. No, I don't know though.
See, you've conceded just about every point to these pieces of evidence, how they're all not really pieces of evidence. They're all suspect, bro.
Okay. Hey, all right. Let's
I'm
run
hanging
through
on.
this. So the confession where he says, let's go back to that example where he says, "Hey, my lover, you'll see me on the footage because I was walking around." Now, I'm conceding that. How?
Well, I'm talking about specifically the point that we don't have the device based on what we have from the preliminary hearing, the information we have from the preliminary hearing. It doesn't appear that we have the device itself. We have a picture of a phone.
So I'm not
of some
conceding it. You're saying if they don't,
I see what you're saying. Fair enough.
Unless they present the physical phone at the preliminary hearing, we don't have evidence.
Okay, fair enough. You didn't concede that point about the text messages, but would you agree that every image of Tyler Robinson is not very clear or been made clear or confirmed?
Yeah, I mean the video footage I've seen, it's a little pixelated.
No, it's a lot of pixelated, including the image of him in the parking garage. Would you agree with that as well?
Yeah.
So let's make sure we have everything so far. So you don't concede to the text messages. I understand, that's fair. So we got grainy images of Tyler in the garage, supposedly Tyler Robinson in the garage. And the new photos that's come out, I actually would like to share this photo. I'd like to get your thoughts about this image here.
Oh, the one that does look like someone else, and that why didn't Candace bring up that in the debate? Because that was the thing.
Warren, you and I are on the same side, bro. We'll be best of buds.
There's got to be a reason. My guess is that this was bogus or something. She got some new information and realized I can't run with that in the biggest debate of the year, so she didn't.
Well, I believe, was this shared after the fact? It was after the debate.
No, it was before it, well before it. But like, there's explanations for this. It could be the lens. It could be just the way that it's shot. There's a bunch of different explanations. If you actually look at the zoomed out version, all of the roofs and everything are slanting on an angle like this. It's unreliable to say that that's not Tyler Robinson.
It was before the debate because I remember seeing that. And I was like, "Whoa, that looks like a different guy." And then she didn't bring it up in the debate, and I'm like,
"No, that's a very good point." But also, there was a couple of things she didn't bring up. I believe it's just because of the direction. I'm gonna just be completely honest. I think it's the way and the direction that Andrew took the debate. There was a lot of things she didn't talk about.
That's true.
So here's a photo here. So the photo on Hall, fact check me later. The first image on the.
Can we get to the debate?
Candace, no. I felt let down.
This is very important. When you say she didn't say anything, first and foremost, can you please establish what exactly did Andrew bring up about Erica Kirk?
He asked her, "Do you think Turning Point or Erica Kirk were at all complicit?"
Right.
And suddenly she's not. What happened, Candace?
Candace has never said that, Warren.
When I thought, well, you're right, man. I guess
let's make the distinction here. This distinction is extremely important.
I really thought, though, that was her point.
No.
She had.
Man, Warren's treating this guy with kid gloves for sure. Treating him with kid gloves. I don't think he deserves it, but he's certainly getting treated that way.
Convinced.
No, this is very important because many will say, well, that's the same thing. No, it's not. And Warren, you're extremely intelligent. So you I know will be able to make the distinction here. Andrew Wilson asked Candace Owens, do you believe that Erica Kirk TP, which, by the way, asking that question the way that he did was very suspect, but fine, he can ask it.
I'd love to know why. Maybe Warren picks it up as to why it's so suspect.
Do you believe that Erica Kirk? Why? Because it appeared to me that he was trying to get her caught up in a defamation lawsuit. If you state
why would you pay $300,000 to sit down with Candace Owens and not ask?
I think that's a perfect reason why you would do it, actually.
Right. So, anyways, okay. It's just it's expected. She knew it was coming. Everyone knew it was coming.
I agree. So,
and I was disappointed. She didn't stand behind what I thought. I've been told.
I wasn't. I was not disappointed at all. In
so
fact,
you don't think Erica Kirk was complicit?
But hold on. Let's get to it, man.
Okay.
The question that he asked her was, do you believe that Erica Kirk, TPUSA, or any of its affiliates were complicit in the unaliving of Charlie Kirk? Is that fair?
Right.
Candace Candace's response was, for legal reasons, I don't know. That's what she should have said. What Candace has stated on her show, and they played a clip, was that she believes that they are complicit in a cover-up. So whatever may have happened to Charlie, she believes that they are involved in covering up what happened.
Oh, shit, dude. All right.
Are you being sarcastic right now?
No. So, but that isn't that kind of like...
It's not the same thing.
It's not the same?
Because look, if eyewitness Warren get punched in the face...
No, that makes total sense, guys. They had no idea it was going to happen. Then their best friend and husband, father of your children, gets murdered, and then you are complicit in covering it up. Okay? They had no idea. Okay? They had no foreknowledge of it. But then when it happens, they're like, okay, quickly, no time to grieve. I'm going to cover all of this up. Brilliant theory here. Brilliant theory. That must have been what Candace Owens meant when she said that Erica Kirk is a black widow and that JD Vance needs to be careful because that's a black widow. Must have been what she meant when she said, oh, straight to jail. Oh, so sorry. Monopoly. Right.
God forbid. I had nothing to do with it. I didn't tell the person to do it, but I'm going to help that person get away because she's a pretty girl and I would like to get a number.
So why do you think they're doing it? Why do you think they're covering it up?
Candace Owens said those words.
She said what? What words?
Well, you said, why do they think they're covering it up, correct?
No, I'm asking you, why do you think if they're, so Candace said they're complicit in covering it up, not
Correct.
the murder. So why are they covering it up if they didn't have anything to do with the murder?
Oh, you asked me to speculate.
Yeah.
Okay.
Why would they? Yeah.
I don't know. That's why I just said to you, Candace Owens is the one that said those words.
You'd think that maybe you'd be able to theorize a reason, a motive. You know, they have nothing to do. We never said that. Black Widow? What a Black Widow? Oh, Black Widows kill people? Oh, okay. And when Candace is on here, I actually got a clip. I might have to pull this clip up. So one of you guys sent this to me this morning on XDMs. This was actually a good one that somebody sent to me just this morning in regards to this. Yeah, so when she's saying this, by the way, guys, far out, my frickin' mouse. Let's have a listen.
Christine Jones writes TPUSA with Charlie. I mean, I've seen a lot of your comments about like the show is not. Christine Jones writes TPUSA died with Charlie. I mean, I've seen a lot of your comments about like the show is not the same, and it's because nothing can survive when it is being choked by lies. And that's ultimately what I hope for these people, going back to my point that I actually don't believe in the death penalty because it's too easy. For the people who didn't.
So guys, by the way, doesn't believe in the death penalty because that's too good for them, for TPUSA and for Erica and these people. And that's not the first time she said that. I posted a clip a few weeks ago that was saying Candace has really taken the gloves off now. And it's like laughing face, but she was saying, Erica France V, long live Erica. Death is too good for you. Okay. What could they have done that warrants a fate worse than death?
Kill Charlie, but perhaps betrayed him before or after. For the people who didn't kill Charlie, but perhaps betrayed him before or after, because I feel like accepting this bogus narrative is an act of betrayal. I want these people to go through the rest of their lives, long lives. I want them to have long lives, actually. And in every room they walk in, it's suffocating, suffocated by people's looks, people's thoughts. They can feel the energy of people knowing. You too? We know. I want them to feel that energy. Doesn't matter who you are, doesn't matter what promotion you get, what title you have, what chief you are. The people around you in every room you walk into know. Right? They don't know, but they know. And that should mean everything. Christine.
So every single room that you walk, death is too good for you. Death, the punishment or the fate of death is too good for you. So therefore, I want you to be suffocated every single time you walk into a room because everybody in there can't prove anything, doesn't know, has no evidence of the thing that they think, but they know. So therefore, you should be suffering for the rest of your entire life, even though we can't produce any evidence, which is what don't know but know means, by the way. We can't produce any evidence, but we think, we feel. We've got a feeling about it. I mean, what could somebody have done that requires that level of punishment? You guys tell me. I mean, perhaps I'm not getting it. Perhaps I'm too stupid to understand.
There's a lot of
Shining by Design sent a massive $80. Thank you very much, Shining by Design. What an absolute gift that is for me. Appreciate that.
theories that I could throw out there, but I'm going to be careful with my language as well.
Okay. I got you.
I do want to be clear here because I just met you, man. I don't know if you be. Go ahead.
I just felt like she backpedaled a little bit, and I thought it was a little bit weak.
But like even on that point, I thought you just.
I understand. There's people trying to trap her by asking her.
She's never said that they were complicit in unaliving Charlie, though, bro. Ever.
I know, but there was
That's
kind
important.
of that. You're right. No, she's not that stupid. She's smart, but.
So you're saying even though she's never stated that, because she's very intelligent with her language and careful with her language, you're saying even though she's never stated it,
you've surely, when you're watching Candace's show, there's been times you're like, oh, that bitch is crazy, dude. She had something to do with this, but she's not stupid enough to say it. But
right. So my question to you though, on is, so you just conceded the point that Candace has never said it and she's careful not to say it, and even though she's never said it, when asked about it directly, she should not only say something that can get herself in a legal pickle.
No, she played it well.
But she should also say something that she's never said before.
No, you're right. You're right. No, I thought she played it well. I was just
you just criticized her for it.
Well, it just felt weak. It just felt weak because she's been kind of I get your point. Okay, but I think she could have gone harder on Turning Point after all the shows. After all.
So kid gloves going on here. We don't get the insinuation. We don't get what is she actually insinuating there? You know, and what are you insinuating? What do you think happened? We don't just get, well, she never explicitly, which she's saying that she deserves to go to jail and be questioned, and her alibi is questioned. And when she's saying that she's potentially complicit with the trafficking of children out of an orphanage from Romania, and that she's gone missing for a bunch of years. And if you guys heard of MK Ultra, you guys know MK Ultra, and that she's a Black Widow and Black Widows kill people. Oh, but she doesn't say it though. Warren, how could you be so foolish? How could you be so foolish to assume that meant that she had something to do with his death? How could anybody arrive at that conclusion, I wonder?
She said.
Totally agree. But you and I will agree that there was so much more that Candace could have said, but they spoke for 3.5 hours, and there were certain things because she was mostly the one getting grilled. Yeah. Andrew Wilson, like I said, we'll get into the evidence. So just so the audience is keeping track, the images of Tyler Robinson supposedly all are grainy. There's no proof that that's Tyler Robinson. And if it's proof, then I'll concede to that. There's no proof. Warren agrees. Same thing with this car. Warren did say he hasn't looked into that very much. I have.
Well, I'm not saying. I mean, we don't. There's evidence. I don't know because the evidence hasn't gone to trial yet. So I mean, you're right. It could all be the state. Fair. It could and the police could be lying. But I mean, there is a confession. He does confess to it. His parents. I mean, let's think about this though, because they would have to. I don't know what they have on him to get his parents to go along with this. Do you think?
But I do have a question, because again, this isn't really a debate between you and I. This is really a conversation, and we're just going to disagree at times. I know you made that clear before we got on, but here's the thing: the parent angle. So, according to the charging documents, from my understanding, it is being stated by the police that the mother stated that looks like Tyler Robinson. The mother does state this, and to my understanding, the father says that they said the father may have agreed or something.
Yeah, and then he confronted him, is my understanding. He called him. He's like, get your ass home. You've got, and he confronted him.
And what we're saying as of right now, it may change with the trial. As of right now, based on what we've seen, that's all we have are typed words in a charging document. The reason why I'm stating it like that, Warren, is because it is. This is important. Tyler Robinson supposedly turned himself in. Well, would you look at that? The footage doesn't exist anymore. They say that the footage disappeared. What? What?
The footage of him turning himself in?
Of him turning himself in, walking into the police station. At one point, they said it existed, and then they said it didn't exist anymore. And as of right now, that footage doesn't exist. That's strange.
How do you? Damn, I didn't know that. How do you know that?
It gets worse. It gets worse though. So what do you think? I'm just curious your thoughts. So the officer, Bagley, I believe is his name, says that what was it? Less than 20 minutes into the investigation, he gets onto the rooftop of the local.
Zach Costello, my brother on the other side, my brother from the other mother, being Candy. Zach, I appreciate the question, but $5, bro? Is that all I'm worth to you these days? No. Zach's got a big family he has to support, so $5 is fine. What percentage out of 100 do you believe that Tyler Robinson acted alone? That's a better question. And what percentage out of 100 do you believe that Tyler Robinson was influenced by an outside influence? I think that the whole percentage out of 100 thing is kind of like not the best way to go about it, by the way. What percent, like 72 or something like that? I don't know. I'm not exactly sure what percentage I believe that he acted alone, but I just don't have any evidence to prove that he didn't act alone. There's always a chance that he couldn't have, but I'd just be speculating about it. If I wanted to say, well, maybe Lance Twiggs was involved somehow, I'd be speculating. If I wanted to say that there was some sort of like a foreign influence of some sort, I would be speculating. I don't actually have any proper evidence for that. If I was going to say that this George Zinn guy was somehow actually involved on the day, I don't really have any evidence of that. Do we have any Discord groups that he was a part of, for example, that were nefarious in nature that we know about? And you know, yeah, it's possible for sure. I'm definitely not ruling that out. Have never ruled that out. And what percentage of 100 do you think that he was influenced by an outside influence? Well, that's kind of the same question. Influenced by an outside influence. Well, actually, no, that acted alone on the day is a different question. So acted alone, it's possible. I'd say that it's more likely that there was an outside influence than he acted alone, for sure. Because we just don't know what's really gone down. But yeah, it's more likely that some, like in Discord, for example, but then it is sort of a broad-ranging question as well, because outside influence would be perhaps he was radicalized by a left-wing group. Maybe he told somebody about his plans and they were like, yeah, great idea. We've also got those tweets that were happening before Charlie Kirk arrived at UVU where people were saying something's going to happen today. You've got Harrison Smith's tweet as well about him being scared for his life. Like, there are many different factors there. So influence, sure, but you'd have to tell me what you mean by influence for sure. So yeah, I hope that answers your question.
Center. And his body cam footage.
Trot uniform says like smashed. Good idea. Good idea to smash that like, Foxy Trot.
Conveniently cuts off. These are body cams that's designed to go for hours. His conveniently turns off right before he finds the screwdriver.
No, I got you. That's strange, but I want to go back.
Zach says, I'm 50-50 that Tyler took the shot, not convinced by the evidence that has been provided. 99% Tyler was involved. I haven't properly scoped your position on this, Zach. I'm glad that you think there was a shot. The exploding microphone theory seems to me to be totally retarded. There's just no evidence that it was an exploding microphone. So I'm glad that you think that there was a shot. And yeah, it seems as though he is involved though. Like, I think 99% is a good place to put it at because he is involved. He's the guy who's in prison at the moment. So he's definitely involved in the case. So yeah. Anyway, Zach, we can do a stream about it sometime if you want, man. We can go over everything on the stream. We can go over the debate. Just let me know. We can do it.
To Turning Point.
Yep.
So what do you think is behind? What do you think their plan is?
I don't know.
Now, Zach, I don't know if you know this guy here and Jesse on Fire and the likes, but these guys, like, I think Jesse on Fire, this guy believes that Charlie Kirk is alive and that this was all staged. And I think this guy might think the same thing. And can we just acknowledge for a second that that is crackpot, loony bin, Fruit Loop behavior? And a place that we should, that is a theory that should be relegated to the fringes. If somebody wants to come and question the evidence, for example, and say, well, I think that there could be reasonable doubt within the state's case, sure. Very reasonable position to have. Well, there could be outside influence, reasonable position to investigate and everything. But this is like Fruit Loop shit. Can we acknowledge that?
I don't know.
So, because it's got to be bigger than Turning Point if they've got police cutting off their body cams and deleting footage and coercing the parents. So that would mean government.
Okay, well, Zach says Charlie's dead, never entertained the fake death. It's good. I'm glad. I didn't think you did.
Now, do you think Tyler Robinson is going to take the fall as a patsy? Like, is he going to give like a fake confession and actually go to prison?
Here's the thing, Warren. I just met you, bro. And so that's my ballpark, speaking about things like that. I speak about, don't know if you...
My balls was hot. Sorry. I should be taking this more seriously. Serious conversation.
On the channel or not, but I speak about patsies and psyops over the years, not just with Charlie Kirk. You're free to believe it with this, whatever you want. But I've spoken. I have a Martin Luther King documentary on the channel, like an official documentary, where I speak about the entire civil rights movement and what I really believe the true purpose of it was. So this is what I do. Don't take this the wrong way. Please don't be offended.
Okay.
It's just,
no, go for it.
I don't know if you have agendas behind your...
Warren looks extremely offended right now, guys. He looks like he's about to jump out of his skin.
Questioning. And
okay.
I got to be careful with, we're talking about...
He's saying, I don't know if you have agendas for your questioning. I don't know how many shekels it's taken Warren Smith, guys.
You know, multi-million-dollar 501c3s. And I can speculate and I can say everything's alleged. I can say all the careful framings. In our first conversation, I'm not comfortable with going down that the theories. But if we ever spoke again and we grew a rapport behind the scenes, I'd be more than comfortable to talk about that with you, even on camera.
That's a nice meta conversation.
It's like there might be someone I'm working for.
Right.
Okay.
But I would like to talk about the evidence.
Okay, let's do it.
So what have we not talked about?
Can we get any evidence, or is this just another feeling that we've got here?
Okay. So have you seen, let me put that on the screen. So the image, I'm going to show you the image of this supposed evidence of Lance Twiggs text message. I don't know if you've seen it. Okay, that's not it. Do you see it now?
Yeah.
Okay. Do you see where the screen is cracked conveniently, where we can't see the time and all of that?
But this is all just based upon the supposition. We're all just supposing that the state doesn't have all of the data from the phone. Like, how would we know that when it hasn't gone to trial? How do we know that the prosecution doesn't have all of this? The defense that knows that they've got all of this, so that's why they didn't push the issue in the pretrial hearing. These guys are all just theorizing. It's like they're holding on for dear life while they still can.
Yeah.
That's what many of us find very strange. The reason why this is important is because we're looking at time. We're making timelines of everything that they said happened when they took pictures, all the ordeals, and we want to know if they're telling the truth or not. Like, if they're telling the truth, then fine. But here's another convenient thing that just so happened to take place. We can't see the time that the photo was taken.
Socrates says we need a Rob Knorr versus Jesse on Fire. Also a Baron Coleman versus Ryan Mullally. Ooh, wouldn't that be good? Thing is, I don't know if Baron Coleman's ever actually like tried a case though. I'm not sure if he's. I think Ryan Mullally's like a legit lawyer. And Rob Knorr versus Jesse on Fire would be non-competitive, guys. That would be like a local flyweight amateur fighter versus John Jones in his prime.
So here's the controversy. I typed this out of my notes as well. So they claim that Charlie was pow at 12:23. At 4:33, the photograph that we're looking at appears to show a text exchange between Lance Twiggs and Tyler Robinson. And this is important because investigators later testified that the Celebrite, that's what it's called, Celebrite Extraction, identified the first Robinson to Twiggs text on September the 10th at 11 p.m. So that's when it supposedly took place. It identifies Robinson's first text to Twiggs as the scheduled message. At 6:25 p.m., a defense filing reportedly identifies a video in which officer reads Robinson his Miranda rights.
Guys, I'm going to leave this playing. I need to run and get some water. Hopefully Warren Smith doesn't sue me.
Robinson then says he wants an attorney and wants to remain silent. At 7:57 p.m., a little bit over an hour later, Discord messages have been attributed to Robinson. This is where the Miranda controversy becomes interesting. Don't know if you've heard this. I believe Baron Coben was the first to bring this to light. Have you heard this yet?
No.
So the supposed, and this has been confirmed, by the way. I am confident in stating this part. The text messages that Tyler Robinson supposedly sent in the Discord messages, they were sent after it's been officially reported in the charging documents after Tyler Robinson was already Mirandized, Warren. It's impossible he sent those messages, bro.
Can you summarize that for me? And why is that again?
Sure. So I probably made that a little bit long-winded and
that's all right. I'm just not that smart. Yeah.
In short, Tyler.
I think this is his official channel here, unless it's a parody. Let me just make sure. It is. So we're not getting any lawsuits today. Good to see Warren in the chat, and good to see him taking a principled and logical and reasonable stance on this. Good for you, man.
Robinson sent Discord messages supposedly. Those messages were sent from some device, which is part of the reason why I was mentioning the phone. It's important that we have the physical phone because it's important we can, I don't know if it's metadata or whatever, we can see where the messages were sent from, because as we know, you can send messages from multiple devices and they still show up on your device. You can have two iPhones under the same account. You can have an iPad on the other side of town in another state. Send a message and it still shows up in your phone in your text messages. The messages that were sent in Discord were sent after Tyler Robinson was Mirandized. This is also important because they reportedly took his phone from him. So who sent these messages?
How do you know this again?
It's all in the charging documents, the timing of everything.
So it says in the charging document that he sent a message after he was arrested?
Well, let me make sure we get on the same page here. It does not say the language Tyler Robinson sent messages afterwards. What it says is Discord messages were sent from Tyler Robinson, supposedly once again, explicitly stating in weird detail all the things that he did, almost too revealing, using language that normal people wouldn't use. And let's be clear about something. Just because you do something unusual, like pow person, does not mean all of a sudden you also text like you from the late 1700s, because that's too different.
It's almost like a non sequitur, isn't it? It would almost be like a non sequitur. It's almost like the premise doesn't follow the conclusion. It's like, what, Warren? What's with all these dots you're trying to connect, bro?
Different types of unusual.
Yeah.
The timing of the Discord messages in the charging document contradicts.
Like, why, guys? Why would we want to like dot connect like that? You know, looking at pattern recognition and looking at behavior, and then thinking, this person seems to be completely fucking out of their mind. Now, Warren over here says that we should skip to the commando crawl part, and we're going to do just that.
But it looks the same to me.
Are you okay with me sharing the video?
Yeah. myself.
Explain. Both agree that there's no proof that that's Tyler Robinson. Right. Not to
It's not
mention that.
necessarily evidence.
Right. Not to mention that it was also testified by an FBA analyst during the preliminary hearing that finding somebody's DNA on something doesn't even mean that they've touched it before. Even though I'm not arguing that here, we can believe that the gun was owned by Tyler. But it's important to put that out there too.
Yeah. That's why.
Let's talk about the footage of him on the roof.
Okay.
This is where so many things are wrong. Would you like to talk about that evidence?
Yeah.
Number one, can we both agree that there's no proof that that's Tyler Robinson?
I can't tell from the video. If you were to show me that video, it'd say, is this enough to ID any of these 10 people in a lineup? I wouldn't be able to pick him out of a lineup.
I agree. Can we also agree that it's extremely strange that he was doing a lateral crawl like an experienced military? Have you seen that?
Dude, the lateral crawl though, but to be honest, I struggle with this one because I've done that same movement myself.
Explain.
Was it when you were trying to get away from a drop bear? Was it when you were deployed in Australia, drop bear comes down, boom, lateral crawl, get away from the drop bear, avoid being sexually assaulted by the drop bear? Because that's what I'd do. My cousin's friend Timmy, if he knew the lateral crawl, would have. Andrew Wilson, actually, when he was deployed in Australia as part of MK Ultra, if he had have hit a lateral crawl, he would never have been assaulted by that drop bear.
Well, so
do you have military background?
No, but I hunt. When I was a kid, we played paintball, stuff like that. I used to do ninjutsu. And
I'm sorry, Warren, if you're still listening, but you look like a guy who's done ninjutsu. Ninjutsu, by the way, guys, great form of martial arts. But it's always the guys who are like unsuspecting. Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, Ninjutsu, Krav Maga, all these sorts of disciplines. They're sort of a little bit more fringe disciplines. They're the guys who you would never expect, right? Like you see a little scrawny guy with glasses or something, and then he'll just wrap you up in a triangle choke and snap your neck or something like that. But yes.
We would like sneak up on each other and do stealth, and you're holding sticks often. And whenever you're holding something, I would find myself just naturally, when you're trying to hold something in your hand and stay low, your body inadvertently does that motion. So there's that. I'm not familiar with the advanced military technique of it though, but it looks the same to me.
Are you okay with me sharing the video?
Yeah.
Let's watch this together.
I'm sorry, but if this is a troll, it's actually pretty well executed. If the troll here is, well, actually, I used to do ninjutsu,
and we can assess what we make of this. This is the 4K footage they claimed in court.
Yeah, dude, it looked just like that when I was playing paintball. That's why I struggle with this. Because when I was in my ninja,
I want to show you side by side so you can actually see a real
Me
military man do that alongside this person on the rooftop. Let's bring in that side by side clip. Here we go.
Damn, look at that. It's very similar, but
action right there is no.
When I was
Tyler Robinson was not doing that, bro. I refuse to believe it. But me,
guys, I'm not even shitting you right now. Me and the boys, about a little bit over a year ago, actually went and played outdoor paintball in Bali, and there was like 8 of us on each side. Got unbelievably competitive, by the way. I was literally going into the side trenches, and I would find one of them, and look, it just made me think, what would I be capable of if I actually went to war? I understand why people go there and they do fucked up things, and they get all sorts of PTSD because they can't believe what they were actually capable of. I would line up one of the boys, like a good friend of mine, people who I had D&Ms with and everything. I would load them up. 8, 10 bullets. They'd be screaming, stop, no, fuck you. It got so competitive. So it made me realize what I was capable of. But I think I might have done a few lateral crawls myself when I was paintballing with the boys.
It's
not too
enough.
advanced, right?
as a lateral crawl.
I mean, that does take a lot of practice.
And we're running that back and forth there.
But just keep listening to this part.
All right.
Okay. There we go. Something forward. And we can watch that again. Something forward. Again. But more importantly, take a look. There you go. That's that unfolding again.
What do you think the black thing is?
Great question, Warren. I don't think it's a gun. Did you see how it fell out like that? I don't know a gun that can do that.
Oh, like
it came out almost like a cane stick that I forget what they're called when we were kids. It's the little stick that has a string in the middle of it.
Yeah.
You can like attach it or whatever.
Yeah. I'll be honest. I think it's like a bag or a wrapping.
Agreed.
My guess is that he was trying to minimize DNA, had it down his pants, goes to take out, takes like the covering off. I have one for like my shotgun. It's just a little fabric slide, throws it down.
Stop it. Stop the logical. Okay. We don't need the logical stuff. Okay. DD over here. Your boy DD he can't,
That'd be my guess though. But I get why you would think it was.
It gets worse though. Like I said, it gets so much worse. Do you remember what Governor Cox said about what Tyler Robinson supposedly did when he was on the roof?
No, what did he say?
He claimed that Tyler Robinson changed clothes on the roof. First of all, they claimed that he changed clothes like 4 or 5 times. One of the times was on the roof, and I'm gonna play that to corroborate my claim here.
Different clothing.
Watch this. And we now know from footage this is a flat out lie.
Yes. So when he's first spotted on campus, he has different clothing on, and then he changes clothing on the roof, and then changed back into that clothing.
This guy's in on it, guys. He's in on it. There's no chance that it could have been an honest mistake. These Kash Patel, the police officers behind this guy, everybody, they're in on the conspiracy.
Some point, so that when he was apprehended, when
was this recorded?
The clothing matched the clothing he had on before the shooting here at UV.
This was recorded, I believe, on September the 11th.
Okay, so it was like the day after.
It was like the day after.
I got you. Now, he might be in on it, and he's just covering it up right there. Though, he might just not be fully
I really
informed.
can't tell. Are you being...
I swear I haven't watched this, guys. I haven't watched this. It's the first time I've seen it. But, I mean, somehow, I don't know how, maybe me and Warren are also in on it, but we came to the very same conclusion straight away. I don't know how.
It's sarcastic, bro.
I mean... That's not really. No, I mean, there are things here I struggle with. Like that one, I'll be honest. I think it's like the day after. He probably doesn't know. He probably is just ignorant about it.
I see. Okay, that's fair. I'll concede that that's possible.
Yeah, the lateral crawl, though, I don't know. That one does kind of get me.
Had you never seen that until now?
I mean, I've seen it. I saw it on Candace. But no, it's just so advanced. Because of like training, where's he gonna
look at the bro's shocked. Look at his face.
Advanced. Because of like
level now, come on. Oh no, I got a better one. Hold on a second. Much better one. Where's my button? Here we go.
What the magic is. I'm so glad to see that.
Training, where's he going to get that from?
Let's talk about this image here. Have you seen the video footages of this person walking down the stairs? Like, have you seen the videos?
I don't remember.
So remember, the evidence is contingent upon this person that we see right here having a rifle stuck down their pants. Number one, it doesn't appear that they have a rifle anywhere in their pants, but you say, well, maybe it's a bit subtle. You can't always tell depending on the size of the rifle. Okay, fine, whatever. The next problem is that when he's walking down the stairs, He's forgetting which leg to limp with, Warren. He limps with his left leg as if to say that's the leg that the rifle is stuffed down. Then he's walking normal with that leg and then limping with the other. And then you never see no type of bulges, no type of rifles, no nothing in his pants. Somebody's going to have to account for that. Why is he limping with different legs?
Is it possible he put it down his other leg?
Well, I'm saying he's limping in the same video with different legs, like different strides. He's changing legs that he's limping with.
Can you play it?
Sure, let me find it. I was just thinking, like, if you hadn't seen it, I'd love to show that to you. Let's see.
Nope. Though I'll be honest, man, I would be cautious though, because there's some strange stuff. Just be careful with this, man, because it's easy.
Thank you very much to the Crucible for the raid. Thank you, and it's great to see all of you Crucibilies over here. Much love to you all. What a week it's been. For those of you guys who haven't been catching up over here, we had the whole troll stream where we got Project Prostitution, Project Constipation, whatever you'd like to call him. We did it live over here. It was amazing. We've been covering the absolute lunatics over there. Lionel, Lenny, the big gay country guys, big gay Valhalla, all of these people. Covering all of the different people spinning out, spurging out over the debate, crashing out, using AI videos, even Alex Jones and people like this. It's been a great bit of fun. So if you haven't been here for it, that's what we've been doing. Now we're reviewing Warren Smith, debating against this dude, who is another, just to be honest, just another nutter. And he's trying to convince Warren so desperately of all of these different pieces of evidence that he has. And Warren is doing something here that they can't quite understand or contend with. And that is the following: a use of subtle satire and comedy and critical thinking. Okay? This is deep water for this guy. Okay? We just saw the lateral crawl. He pulled up the lateral crawl video, and Warren enlightened him as to the fact that he had done ninjutsu in the past and paintballing with the boys, and that, you know, that move is just way too advanced. But anyway, now we're on the rifle down the pants and everything, and what we're seeing is Warren, you know, sort of critical thinking his way through these scenarios and providing alternative explanations to him being a patsy. So anyway, that's what we're doing over here, guys. Great to see all the Crucibilies. Gravios comes in and goes, "What's up, Jake? Hope you haven't had any run-ins with drop bears recently." No, not me personally, but I did obviously reveal about Andrew's run-in with a drop bear. It's pretty tragic.
Easy to get,
like caught up in AI footage or something.
That too. Maybe, I don't know. Just be careful is all I'm saying.
But what do you mean by that, though?
You just don't want to you want to keep a view on, you don't want to get caught up in this world too much where it's like that's all you see.
He's being a nice guy here. But what he's saying is you don't want to turn yourself into a full-blown skeptic retard. Okay? That's essentially what he's saying here. You don't want to view the world through a paradigm where everything, because of this well poisoning sort of that you've done, that everything must be a conspiracy. Okay? You want to have an objective and sober-minded look at the information that you are given and be able to look at it through that paradigm, as opposed to everything must be wrong, everything must be bullshit, everything must be a cover-up. Okay? That's essentially what he's saying. And it's essentially, you want to be able to form a logical chain, premise followed by conclusion, as opposed to just taking the conclusion that you want and viewing everything through the lens of that paradigm where the conclusion is true and now I'm trying to find things that support my conclusion. That's a backwards way to do it. It's a nice way of saying, I mean, Warren's being nice.
Start viewing things through a narrative, you might miss, there might be things that are plausible and explainable.
Okay, that's fair. I see what you're saying. If I get too much into this, then I'll start.
Yeah, and I think that's why the response to my video on the debate with Candace was so harsh, because it's like it's gone beyond just disagreement, and it's more like I'm questioning.
I would love to see them actually get into this a little bit more, because this guy had some pretty robust disagreements with Warren about his video. I thought Warren's video was completely fine. He just looked at it from the logical and analytical lens, essentially, and then this guy comes out and goes, you got a lot of cognitive dissonance. Got a cognitive dissonance going on. And all of this, and it's like, explain that. Do you even know what that means? Explain it. And you think he was biased and unfair and all these sorts of things? I think it's pretty much just clout chasing, though. Just like calling out bigger creators so that you can collab with them and get your name out there. Worked, if that's the case.
But there's good reason to here, Warren. There's none about this makes sense, bro. Here's the video.
Look who it comes from, by the way, guys. Look at the name down there. Honest Ashley. If you guys are watching my last ones. Oh, I'm Honest Ashley. And I'm Southern, but I speak like Candace Owens. She is nails on a chalkboard, that woman. Anyway, I'm not going to well poison.
And so we have.
So watch his legs change. He's bending both legs, and then he's limping again. Now he's bending both legs. Look at that. There's no rifle.
Wait a minute.
Huh?
All right. Can you just play it again?
Sure.
Same. And, the images that we have from my viewing and seeing that.
It looks like something's in his right leg to me.
What? Let me look again.
What? Let me look again.
The images that we have.
Right leg. Okay, that's closest to the wall.
Yeah.
He's bending right there.
Yeah, he can still bend it. You can see it right there. It looks like that looks to me like just above his knee.
I mean, kind of does look like something's in it there to me. He could have a black grandpa or something like that. I mean, I often struggle from this same problem here, unfortunately, that people think that you've got a gun down your pants, when you really don't. But he could have some sort of a black grandpa or something like that. I'm not sure what maybe we should do a genealogy into Tyler Robinson and see what's really the cause here.
You're talking about, I see something there.
Yep, it looks like a.
But how are you able to bend your leg fully like that?
Because it only extends to his knees. Is what I'm guessing, and I'm guessing it's poked up here. So, like, if I were to put a rifle down there, I would have my kneecap to up here. So when people appendix carry pistols, the pistol's poking up to your belly button. That rifle can be way up here under your shirt.
Very important to notice here, guys, that Warren looks like he's being sarcastic, but what he's doing is he's just theorizing and he's just speculating here. And the funny part is that, like, that's all that these people are doing. So if you just theorize and you speculate, then they have to give you a reason as to why their speculation is better than your speculation. So he could play this game with this guy all night. Well, I think it kind of looks actually like, from my investigation, from my analysis here, from what I'm seeing, I think that, actually it's possible.
Sure, I'm guessing that's what's going on there. That's why he's able to bend at his knee. Watch his shirt. Yeah. I think that's what you're saying.
All right, I'll agree that may be possible.
This guy just keeps conceding now. This is pretty funny. Every time, because it's like, oh shit, now I've got to try and prove something with evidence. Damn it. Are we just going to sit here speculating the whole time? Because if we're going to sit here speculating the whole time, I can't really counteract his speculation with my speculation. So what do we do here? Okay, what's the next clip I've got? Embarrassing, dude. Embarrassing.
Still find it strange.
Now, Cruisabillies, we're not even at a quarter of the super chat goal yet. What happened? Like, did you guys empty your wallets for Andrew? Did you give Andrew all your money? What the hell? What about us? What about me? It isn't fair. Real Robert says Andrew should stay and watch so he can learn the truth about this case. The truth is the feels because it's weird and doesn't seem right. True. Very true. He should learn all about the feels and the concerns.
That he's easily bitten, but to your point, I guess he could have it up higher. But wouldn't that mean that another half of the rifle would have to be somewhere else? Correct? Or are you saying the entire rifle?
I don't know enough about this topic, this portion of it, honestly, because I don't understand why you would have. If I was going to shoot someone, I wouldn't. I would put the gun together first, and I would bring a gun that I could conceal like that, like what we just looked at.
Agreed.
Now, I mean, so where I don't know where the claim is coming from. Like he disassembled it, he assembled it, and then disassembled it. Like why would you? So
and they
I don't
said
know where
he
that's
did all of that, and then he left the screwdriver on the roof, and then they say he reassembled it in the woods. That doesn't make sense.
My guess, my guess is you would bring a screwdriver potentially to be able to change your scope if you needed to, but you would probably have all that zeroed in ahead of time. I don't know.
I agree, but that's not what I'm stating.
I'm
I'm stating my understanding is that they're claiming that he got onto the roof, assembled the weapon because it was broken apart in his pants. He assembled it in record timing, by the way. He did this in like really, really short timing. Like,
it'd be funny to ask him what the record is here. Just to take everything super literal. What is the record? Gravio sent 10 and said, the saddest thing to me is that if Tyler Robinson did it, which is likely the case, he had so much time in between to really think about what he was about to do and still did it. Yeah. Adrian Little comes in and says, not one step back. Adrian Little has been on fire with the comments in the chat recently. Thank you, bro. Appreciate that. Guys, just to remind you as well, the Stream Elements link is pinned in the chat there. And if you 20 and up on Stream Elements, is text-to-speech if you have something that's more pressing to say. We'll give this another 10 minutes or so, and then I want to get over to some of the clips from Andrew with the Turning Point USA guys.
Experts have come out and said it's impossible to assemble a rifle.
Big 50 comes in from Red Fox. You're a legend. Thank you, man. We're nearly at halfway to that goal now.
And the timing that they claiming that they did. Have you seen those videos?
I've heard people make that claim. How do we know? I guess we would have the timestamp of him walking.
Yeah, they've done it. They've done all of it.
How do we know he assembled it though?
Great question. That's the question that I'm asking. I don't believe that he did. Like the amount of time that we've seen.
That's the question we should all be asking, to be honest. How do we? The question I'm asking is, why didn't the defense bring any of this up? It's a question to ask. Toxic Fish Media over on Stream Elements said, I think he was trying to avoid gate analysis.
Unless I see something, yeah.
Go ahead.
Unless I see something indicating, like, I just don't know where that story came from, but I haven't looked into this at all.
What they're claiming is that he assembled it, and I agree with you. Like, how do we know? But what they say is he assembled it on the roof with the screwdriver, got off, left the screwdriver up there, right? Because Officer Bagley would later find it. He gets off the roof after leaving the screwdriver, but disassembled the weapon later, and it was found in the woods. Which, by the way, in the debate with Candace and Andrew, even though that already doesn't make sense, Andrew stated it was reported that there was dust and debris found in the weapon. And how do you account for that if the weapon had recently been fired? Andrew stated that it's possible. Okay, fair.
What does dust mean?
Great question.
Okay, because I've noticed that when I shoot my gun, it gets dirty as you shoot. You'd be surprised it looks like dust.
Okay.
So I don't know what they mean by that. It's like, but yeah, the more you shoot your gun, the dustier looking it gets too.
But the debris part, like, why was there so much debris in the gun? Andrew's explanation was
threw it down in the ground in the woods.
Well, he said, like, you got to remember that the weapon was also left in the woods. So isn't that another explanation as to why debris? The answer is no. No, it's not, because the weapon was wrapped in a towel. Remember?
The great protector of debris, a towel. It's wrapped in a towel. Now, could it be possible that there was debris on the towel? Maybe. This is actually a fantastic bit of content here, guys, because what happened is, like, Warren is not overly familiar with all of the case and everything here, but what he's doing is just using very basic critical thinking skills to say, well, there could be a bunch of different explanations for all of this, and just interacting with them in real time. And this guy has absolutely nothing. This is an absolute dog walking. Every single time, it's a dog walking.
Oh, so that black. Okay.
Don't know where the towel came from. They say he wrapped it. The gun was
don't know where
wrapped in a towel.
Okay, I got a theory. My guess is that when we were watching that video and that black thing comes out, and I was like, hey, that's probably the wrapping. I'm guessing that was the wrapping of what we're calling the towel.
I see.
Maybe it was probably, yeah, it could have been a towel. And that's what he threw in the woods, and some debris got in the barrel as he threw it down on the ground quickly.
Right.
That'd be my guess.
Here's the next thing. Let's talk a little bit about the quote unquote
Total 10-8 round. Again. 10-8, 10-8, 10-8, 10-8. This guy is a journeyman at this stage.
Well, actually, before we get to that, do you know the reason why they said they were convinced that the person in all of these grainy footages that don't clearly show that it's Tyler Robinson? Do you remember the reason that they stated in the preliminary hearing why they were convinced that it was Tyler Robinson?
My understanding is it would be a combination of factors. That him saying, you're going to see me in the footage, his lover saying, hey, that looks like him, his parents seeing the footage and saying that looks like him, that leading to the confession. I don't know much.
I best get me some water. Man, he making a lot of sense. I best get me some water.
Seeing the footage and saying that looks like him, that leading to the confession. I don't know much about it, though. So, I mean, something like that.
Sure. But one of the biggest pieces of things that they pointed to were the shoes. He was wearing, I believe, gray and white Converse.
Yeah, I heard Candace say that. Can you explain this to me?
Huh?
Can you explain this to me? I don't understand.
I'm sorry, guys. I'm thoroughly enjoying this. Thoroughly enjoying it. Searsight sent 10. Thank you, sir. And then Don't Look sent 20 and said, could have been a drop bear in the woods. I haven't even thought of that possibility yet. We do know that they do lurk in the woods, and it's not a logical impossibility. So it's the drop bear is a suspect for sure. The drop bear has to be treated like straight to jail for the drop bear, I'd say.
So Tyler Robinson supposedly changed clothes. He came to the campus earlier that morning. They said he left. I believe he went to Chick-fil-A maybe at that point. Don't quote me on that. When he comes back, he's already changed clothes for the first time that day already. When he comes back, I believe that's when he has some sort of contact with one of TPUSA's employees or volunteers. Apparently, that's not seen on camera. But they said they know that the person that came back is still Tyler Robinson, despite changing clothes, because the shoes. But the shoes that Tyler Robinson was supposedly wearing that day, Warren, are the same exact kind of shoes that Lance Twiggs has.
Shit. No.
What about his face? Like, they talked to him, right? So he talked to a Turning Point person.
So these brokies living in the share house, banging each other, have the same shoes. Or guys, maybe, and I don't know, this is crazy. Okay, since it's his boyfriend, is it possible that they have a similar shoe size? Somebody needs to investigate this right now. Is it possible that they have a similar shoe size and that they share their clothes? Is it possible that once upon a time Lance Twiggs borrowed his boyfriend's shoe? I don't know. Someone needs to investigate this.
Supposedly, yep.
Okay. So you're saying, and that Turning Point person after the fact says, yeah, I spoke to that guy, and I know it because he's wearing Converse. Now I'm saying, wouldn't it be like, I know it's him because the way his face looks?
Yes, totally understand what you're saying. I can't speak to that with conviction because it's hearsay. The Turning Point USA person, I don't think has been identified. So this was just mentioned during the preliminary hearing, and that was all we heard about it.
Oh, okay.
So anyways, but it's been, because remember, a lot of people are suspicious that Lance Twiggs may be a quote unquote fed. That is to say, some of these
evidence
that we're saying that they're saying is Tyler could easily be Lance Twiggs.
Because, okay, why?
They resemble each other a lot.
Okay.
And remember,
so what? Lance Twiggs, the transferee lunatic, is a fed. What's the evidence for that exactly? And then even if he is a fed, if Lance Twiggs was a Fed, why would they need Tyler Robinson to go and be the patsy here? Why did he groom his boyfriend or something? And isn't it true that they said that they never spoke about LGBTQ issues or anything like this? So what would be Tyler Robinson's motive here? And what happened was he just like, so wait, Lance Twiggs took the shot, and then Lance Twiggs helped frame Tyler Robinson for the murder, but Tyler Robinson's parents thought that Lance Twiggs was Tyler Robinson, and then Tyler Robinson confessed to it after. Is he taking the fall for his boyfriend? We need a little bit more information here as to how this has all gone down.
The same shoes, right?
And they have the same shoes. But not only that, the text messages, remember, which is part of the reason people would feel a lot better if the physical phone itself was a part of evidence instead of photos of the phone. And that's because you have to understand that Lance Twiggs has access to other devices owned by Tyler Robinson because they were quote unquote dating. So where were the messages sent from? You say that Tyler Robinson sent them. Well, we know that certain messages were sent in the Discord messages after Tyler Robinson was reportedly Mirandized. Something's not adding up here, clearly. Who sent those messages if Tyler Robinson was already in custody?
And you don't think it, because you mentioned earlier that he had automated timed messages.
Correct. I don't know if you can do that on Discord. And even if you could, that's weird because he's exchanging conversation with people in the Discord. It's not like one message was sent out. He sent multiple messages. Supposedly he.
I saw Andrew this morning said that this was something that he thinks needs more investigating, the Discord messages. Fair.
And that's verified?
Yeah, that's verified.
Damn. It seems like that would blow the lid off this thing. Well, I guess because it could be automated, but
well, that's why a lot of people are up in arms and they're waiting to see if the defense is going to mention all of these things because a lot of us are confused. People.
Yeah, that's the thing though. You would think that if the defense had this as like a really strong piece of evidence, then they would have brought it up in the pretrial hearing. So I think it's pretty safe for us to assume that there's a reason for that, and there's a reason why the defense didn't bring it up.
I said, oh, how come the defense weren't talking about this in the preliminary hearing? Because that wasn't their job. Not doing the preliminary hearing, as I'm sure you know. Also, remember the bullet to rifle comparison. There's so many things here that we forget a lot of it. The bullet to rifle comparison.
Holy Handmaid says, it isn't. People just repeat this shit. The Discord message was sent an hour before Tyler surrendered at the station. That's also pretty likely. I'm not 100% sure about the details here. Now, anyways, guys, I do want to get onto this Andrew and TPUSA stuff over here. He had a little interview with Colvert this morning, so we don't have too much longer. We've got about like 30 minutes or so, so I wanted to get into that. Also, Jay Dyer debated that Marquette guy yesterday. That was quite funny. Let's go through some of the happenings over here on X land. First of all, our boy Max Pacheco here. Brian Shapiro trying to go after him. Max is going after UNF America. Brian saying, attention, Maxi Pad MAGA puke. Crowder told his pregnant wife on X video, I will F you up, among other things. It's all on tape, you TPUSA cuck. Now, Brian Shapiro has sexually harassed multiple women over text messages, over DMs. A disgusting individual when it comes to women. So, Brian, I wouldn't be talking. And Max comes in and says, hey, Brian, I'm still patiently waiting for that clip of Steven Crowder saying this. You wouldn't dare lie about that, would you? Good man, Max. Not one step back, my friend. Keep it up. Good man. All right. Andrew and TPUSA this morning talking to Blake Neff and Andrew Colvert. I happen to know as well, guys, that these guys were quite fond of my trolling the other week. Because that Project Constitution guy saying that Erica Kirk is MK Ultra and they're all implicated in the death. He's so retarded that he just goes and says anything that he wants, basically. And he was like spreading things about Andrew Colvert saying that his wife and him are getting divorced and all of this sort of shit as well. So I happen to know that they quite liked my takedown of Project Constitution or constipation or prostitution, whatever you want to call him. And that there are a lot of people out there on the interwebs who are quite fond of the fact that every single time that guy posts anything, people will comment under it saying afternoon delight, drop bears, menthol cigarettes, and I encourage you guys all to do the same thing. Okay? If there are X posts that you think are worthy of a reminder about drop bears and about menthol cigarettes and about afternoon delight, there's been a few good shorts made about it. We could just drop it underneath. Just let them know. Just a quick reminder. Edgewalker comes in with a big 100 and says, for the legendary trolling this week, not one step back, not one step back, not one step back, guys. Appreciate that, Edgewalker. Very generous donation there, and that gets us over halfway to the goal. So let's go with this, guys.
More, I will just say on a personal level, infuriating moments of the debate was when you guys were talking about complicit. She said, I never said Erica Kirk was complicit. You put those words in Charlie's murder. You put those words in my mouth. I didn't do that. And
Did you consider asking her to define the word complicit?
I did actually. You know, if you watch what I said to her specifically was, what did you mean when you said complicit then? What does that actually mean? And what she said is, that means that you believe Tyler Robinson shot Charlie Kirk. And I said, wait, that's it? All you mean by complicit is that Erica believes that? Yes. And then I went a step further again and said, so are you just saying that she doesn't believe that? And then Candace says, yeah, I absolutely don't believe Erica Kirk believes that.
So I'm going to play the clip.
It's like,
we'll play the clip. This is again from Milk Bar, SOT 3.
There is why it is impossible for me to think that Erica Kirk is not complicit somehow.
That Tyler Robinson was 100% responsible for the death of Charlie Kirk. Let's just say she believed it with every fiber of her being, believed all the evidence, because she did. She just actually did. Would it then follow that somehow she's complicit in his death?
I didn't say complicit in death. You added those two words.
By the way, I just want to say, I don't know Milk Bar TV. The team just pulled these clips. We don't pay him because that'll, I don't know what the allegations are going to be. But so I'm sitting there going like, wait, your whole thing is that you've basically set it up that Erica Kirk is complicit in Charlie's death somehow for months. And you're going to sit there.
And remember, guys, we played this before the Crucibillies raided, but we played a clip of Candace saying about these people that for them, death is too easy, okay? Their punishment should be a fate worse than death. That's too easy. They should live a long life of suffering for everything that they've done in being complicit. Now, if the idea here is that by complicit, she just means that they had the wrong opinion, that they were convinced of the evidence and that was the wrong opinion, so they were complicit, then obviously that doesn't make sense. When you're saying that Erica Kirk is a black widow and that she was involved in child trafficking in Romania, and when you're saying all of these crazy things about her and TPUSA and that everybody let him down, they were all complicit, straight to jail, everything, excuse us for actually thinking that you're saying that they were complicit in his death. But you don't want to get yourself into a legal pickle. I mean, there's no grounds or basis for a legal pickle yet. I guess if you just keep saying we don't know, but we know, then that will save your ass, whatever.
In a debate across from Andrew Wilson and say, you added those words. I never said that. I meant she's complicit in like the framing of Tyler Robinson or something like that. And I was like, I'm sitting here going like, well, thanks for all the death threats because you just think we believe the wrong guy's guilty. Like, thanks for all of the harassment and all the death threats. Really cool.
Yeah, well, not only that, but the massive slander campaign, the unethical campaign that has been going on. So there's two kind of primary reasons that I even got involved in any of this to begin with. The first was because of a person who has been in my chat for years challenged me because he said, I don't really believe this official narrative. And you always tell.
Now, I want to warn the Cantifa cantards in the chat right now. We're about to hear what it means to be a critical thinker and how to actually, think through your ideas and try and formulate airtight ideas here, okay? So just warning before he says this about trying to falsify your own ideas. Just a warning, okay? This might be triggering to some people.
Plus, try to falsify your own claim. So that was what I set out to do. I'm going to see if I can falsify my own claim, and I couldn't falsify it. right? And I tried. I went into XSpace after XSpace, talked to tons of these people with their alternative theories, talked to attorneys, talked to everybody, and I couldn't get it falsified. So that was the first issue. And then the sort of second issue is that what I see is a power dynamic problem. I think that people get the motivation of Owens and a lot of these people incorrect. They attribute it to things like jealousy. They attribute it to this type of thing. I don't really think it has much to do with that. I think it has to do with power. From the perspective of the Owens and Owens orbiters, they have license to do whatever horrible thing that they want to anybody because they're running, quote, an investigation. That's what they're doing. So at least from their end, that's what they say they're doing. So if they want to dox you, if they want to harass you, if they want to harass your family, they want to dox your family, they want to do all of the things which are normally against all internet protocol, right? The things that people would normally come down hard on you for doing. They're allowed to because they're, quote, investigators. And so what that does is it gives them carte blanche to do whatever horrible thing they want to somebody because they're searching for the truth, you see. And that's one of the major issues that I saw going in was like, these people have given themselves license to do whatever horrible thing they want to anybody that they want. And then the way that they justify it is, well, they're part of this conspiracy. So therefore, if we destroy their life, if we dox their family members, if we viciously attack them, if we slander them, if we demean them, if we stalk them, if we do horrible things to them, that's completely justified because all we need to do, the wine moms of the world, is unify and say, well, you're part of the conspiracy. So we're justified in doing this to you.
I will just.
Sorry to the Cantifers that got offended by that, guys.
Level out, come on!
I didn't mean to do that. That was uncalled for. Very uncalled for. Now, to the real enemy over here. This one's, I think, resurfaced or something. Let's just have a real quick look at this over here. I don't know if this is a new one or if it's resurfaced, but this is the left, guys. This is who these people are, okay? It's a perfect distillation of who these people are. They're at a drag show or something along those lines, and they have actually planned to dress up like Charlie Kirk being assassinated with his freedom shirt on, blood gushing out of his neck, with a big photo of him behind, openly mocking his death, okay? This is the enemy that we have been diverted from orienting our animus towards. But it's each other we want to fight. Crowder did a good little monologue about this.
Charlie Kirk, put yourself back in the moment. Just allow for the sake of argument.
And by the way, guys, I said I had caught up with Andrew for the first time in a while last night, and we had a long chat about this. And you know, in a year, 18 months' time or whatever, I do think that this will be looked back on as like a crazy mass psychosis event, a traumatic event that caused a lot of, you know, craziness to happen. And we'll be able to look at it when we're out of the woods and hopefully into the green oasis of some sort of unity. I don't know if that's going to happen or if it just gets crazier. I'm not too sure. But hopefully that's what happens, that eventually we get out of this and we're like, that was a crazy time. And we look back at this as the mass psychosis event that it was. I hope so, right? And we were talking about that last night. And hopefully by then, people have realized the absurdity of it. And then guys like Andrew and Crowder, for example, who have always had the same sort of mission statement, is to go to the left, to take them on their campuses, in their TikTok invasions, all of these different places, and to stop basically these Eastern communists from getting into power, these Mamdani type of people from getting into power, rather than fighting each other. So I do hope that that is the conclusion of this, that we can go back to orienting our sort of our attention towards, you know, the real culture war, the real political war, as opposed to all of these all of these things that should be meta debates that are going on. They shouldn't be at the forefront. But anyway,
just for a moment, let's just assume that Candace in the debate, no matter how you think or feel about optics, tone, just assume for a second that Candace willingly admitted she has no evidence of anyone other than Tyler Robinson killing Charlie Kirk. Just assume that for the sake of argument. Put yourself back during that day. That day, what happened? what you thought, how you felt. Was it, let's destroy the conservative movement and the Republican Party?
Not really.
Was it, there's no difference between the right and the left, let's just hand it over? Or was it, we knew this was going to happen, we've seen the violence across the country from the left against the nameless, also blameless, we've been seeing it for years, and now they've done it in plain view. Now they've done it in plain, no surprise that someone who is radicalized by the left, LGBTQAIP, Antifa, all of that, none of us are surprised that it came to this, and what a tragedy. And this is a moment where we can correct course and go, okay, all right, no more of that. Is that how you thought? Or did you think, you know what, a few months from now, I'm not going to care that this snuff film becomes a leftist clout-chasing exercise and a drag show. You know what, a couple of months from now, I'm not going to care about any of this so long as people make Israel the center of all of their issues. I don't care about any of this. You know what? A few months from now, this thing that's happened right with Charlie. You know what? This has inspired me to impeach Donald Trump. Put yourself back there. Marry it with the undeniable statistical wake-up call of the primaries that you've been seeing, and ask yourself what the path forward is. And I will tell you, even to those who've been awful, open door here where we will have a conversation in good faith.
Yep. And look, now that you've got the preliminary hearing, pretty influential to me, for example, you're going to have the trial. My opinion of it at the moment is that I think that he's probably going to end up pleading guilty, and the death penalty is probably not going to be taken off the table. That's just me speculating, but I would say that that's probably going to happen. There was also a recent update here, which might help that along. We'll have a look at Fox News' coverage of it. But even if people have been on the crazy side, I've been on that side many times, it's like we said before, earlier in the stream, it's okay to come back to reality, okay? Eventually you'll have to. The evidence will be so undeniable that if you don't come back to reality, you're going to be perpetually in cloud cuckoo land, okay?
Move the case to trial in their response to the evidence presented by the prosecutors. Let us remind you, there is a mountain of key evidence presented in this case, starting with the surveillance footage tracing Robinson's movement. We have that. The ballistics and firearms analysis.
Just quickly, let me read out these chats that we've got here. More salary, sent Ted and said Miss D needs a smoko break.
Come on, Smarto. So leave me alone.
Bit of a cat fight going on in the chat there. Hockey Puck Chuck, haven't seen him in a minute, says, so does that make them the new Inquisitors? I don't know exactly who he's talking about there. And Deck says, the only thing any of us on the right should need to know is that Hassan, I wiped my ass with the Constitution, is Scamdus's biggest fan. Wasn't that just a beautiful clip, guys? Doesn't that just prove everything? I mean, literally everything that Andrew's been saying over the last few months that this is coming from the left is encouraging this, pushing this, and then Hassan Piker, the communist lefty, comes out and says, I totally support Candace because she's killing the right. I mean, vindication, it just keeps coming, It just keeps happening. And then you've got all of these whack job lunatics who are reposting UNF America, and these people, Candace reposting UNF America, Candace reposting Destiny. I mean, guys, now they're just doing it out in the open. It's been like the plan has been revealed. It was unveiled, and now they're just doing it out in the open, which is, I mean, it's good for us, I guess. We knew that. So, guys, we are nearly 3/4 of the way to the goal. I'm sure if we hit that goal, there will be a membership drive. I'm just saying. I know that there are some people in the chat who are really keen to give away some memberships today. So if we hit the goal, I think there'll be a membership drive.
Is about as solid as it gets, even the
writing
of messages on some of those cartridges. And they have not only the ammo and firearms, but a Dremel tool found in Robinson's home. There's also DNA. Prosecutors say DNA links Robinson to the actual rifle. The testimony, though, from roommate Lance Twiggs was blockbuster. It came along with what would appear to be confessional text messages between the two. With that, let's bring in Paul Morrow, retired NYPD inspector and former head of counterterrorism operations for the NYPD. Paul, what do you make of this development and where is this headed?
Well, all of this is procedural according to the Utah rules for a preliminary hearing relative to getting probable cause to move forward for a trial. Let's remember that. We're not talking here about a trial. We're talking about a preliminary hearing just to see if this thing is going to be bound over for trial. But at this point, it's become so belabored that the trial is actually going to feel like a do-over. So I really feel like this has been really sort of beaten to death because at this point, you kind of know the contours of the prosecution's case. So with the defense filing now, which is what's required for today, I expect them to attack the evidence piece by piece to try to sow some doubt as to whether each piece holds up. But I think the thrust of what they do is likely going to be to try to undo the aggravating factors that would put the death penalty on the table. That is to say, they will say things like it was not a grave risk to others in the way this.
So, I mean, it is speculation, and we actually do admit that, but they're saying that they think that they're going to try and get the death penalty off the table with the aggravated factors. I think there was something even about Tyler Robinson saying, the defense saying, well, he's not a very good shot. He misses in target practice. So, you know, I don't know. I don't even know how that would strengthen his case, really. If he's not a good shot, wouldn't it be more dangerous if he shoots into a crowd? But anyway.
Was carried out. And so as a result, this should be a normal murder case, that is to say, not a capital case.
So we just laid out the mountain of evidence, but yet Robinson's attorneys are arguing simply that there's not enough evidence to go to trial. Robinson's attorneys say the state has failed to establish probable cause that the shooter knowingly created a great risk of death to another other than Charlie Kirk and himself. The state is required.
Guys, word on the street is if we hit 800 likes, there's going to be a giveaway. So we'd need to get 350 more. Can we do that? There's going to be a membership giveaway. You guys know that a lot of these streams like yesterday's are members only after stream.
As a matter of law, to show more than a possibility that someone else may be killed by defendant's conduct, the state has overwhelmingly failed to make this showing.
Someone goes, sorry, Jake, but just because someone says they're Republican doesn't mean I agree with everything they do. Sometimes I wonder if people are watching the stream or if they're watching something else, like you commented on the wrong video or something like that. That has to be a woman. S80G, are you a woman? Who said that you have to agree with everything that someone does because they're a Republican? I'm not even sure if I've even said the word Republican this whole stream.
Do you agree with that?
I don't. And of course, as I said, this is pro forma. This is what they have to argue. This is where they're going to try to go. That is to take the death penalty off the table. They're also likely going to argue things about the DNA because the DNA was mixed with Lance Twiggs' DNA. The FBI analyst used the word probability, despite the fact that the probability was something like a quintillion to 1. None of it is going to work, Griff. This case is going to trial, and I would be shocked. Not only were it not bound over for trial, but in fact, if the death penalty came off the table, he fires a high-powered rifle from a good distance away into a crowd. That's a risk to others. This case is going forward, and I think the death penalty remains on the table.
So do you see, real quick, do you see the defense going after Lance Twiggs' credibility?
I mean, I suppose they could, but they have all this corroborating evidence, including the text messages that happen completely independent of Twiggs' ability to influence them other than his replies. So if they're going to say, you know what, Twiggs is lying for some reason of his own, which I don't get because they were reportedly lovers, you have this corroborating series of texts that say pretty much the same thing. And let's remember something else, Griff, just to close the loop here. This is not the prosecution's entire case. Prosecution now has gotten a preview of the defense's case. But I think that there's a good chance there's something we haven't seen, and that is, remember, he gave himself up. He walked into a sheriff's office, and the sheriff knew he was coming. All that sheriff had to do was turn on a body-worn camera, and you have a confession on camera, and he doesn't even have to interrogate.
Wouldn't that be quite something, guys, if they had a confession on camera from the sheriff from Tyler Robinson? Wouldn't that be something to bring to trial?
All he has to do is say to Robinson when Robinson walks in, "Can I help you?"
Yeah.
And Robinson's going to have to.
And imagine if the defense knows that the prosecution has that under their sleeve or a bunch of other things. So that's why the defense isn't actually questioning an alibi. The defense isn't questioning the Patsy narrative, the steakhouse narrative, any of these sorts of things, because the defense knows that this guy's cooked and the best that they can do is try and get the death penalty off the table. I mean, if I had to connect dots and theorize and just sort of give my speculation, I'd say that that kind of makes sense.
Explain why he's there. There's your confession.
Well, so, just in cases you've covered, this evidence alone seems like quite a lot of glaring evidence. So based on just the evidence we laid out, how would a jury, in your estimation, react to something like this?
I think the only shot you have here, unless something really unforeseen falls apart at trial, is some version of jury nullification, the kind of stuff we've been talking about relative to Luigi Mangione. That is to say, somebody who, for whatever reason, hides the fact that they are politically aligned with Robinson and decides to hang the jury. I don't think there's any way you're going to get an acquittal. Look, it's very dangerous to prognosticate on what a jury is going to do. But let's be factual with our audience. They're too knowledgeable to gaslight here. The evidence is overwhelming. And I know there's a lot of crazy theories on the internet. You got DNA, you got video, you got the weapon, you got the screwdriver, you got the testimony of the roommate, you have the text messages that I talked about. You might have a confession to the sheriff. All of these things are just so compelling. I just don't see how this goes any other way than a trial with the death penalty in play.
That guy must be in on it. Is that guy Jewish? Is that guy Israel?
Charlie Kirk,
He might
put
be
yourself
in
back.
that, to be honest. I remain unconvinced. All right, so Jay debated this Marquette guy yesterday. And there was another one I wanted to show as well. But anyway, so this Marquette guy, I've actually watched a few of his streams over the last few years. Paints himself as a really sort of, big time debater. And that if anybody ever stepped in the ring with him, they'd be cooked. So I was fascinated to see this one. I watched a fair bit of it yesterday, and I thought that his arguments were so weak. And Jay was just picking them apart one by one. He didn't really have a very good understanding of like fallacious reasoning. A lot of the reasoning that he was giving was really sort of fallacious. We won't review the whole debate, maybe another time, but it was pretty easy. It seemed like a pretty easy debate for Jay. But I did see this clip, which might be fun for us to watch.
Did you just Google that?
My hands are right here. How can I Google? You haven't
Your
seen me
hands
typing
were
at all.
Googling a minute. No, I didn't argue that. I said.
There we go, Googling. But I've seen a few times over the years that this guy is like a real like black nationalist, like hates white people. This guy really hates white people, and he's always making that known. Thank you to the gifted membership from J-Man. Appreciate that. And the Marinite Aussie comes in and says, you need to add "You're Not My Dad" to the soundboard. No, okay, I've got a better one. I'll do that. Step Brothers. I'm not going to call him Dad, even if there's a fire. That would be better. I'm around family that says ghosts or aliens whenever they don't understand something. That's why I want evidence for everything, otherwise my story. Jason says, thought I was getting molested by a drop bear, then realized it was my dog and the battery in my mouse died. Mouseard. Hopefully we get to the bottom of Mouseard eventually, guys. Hopefully.
That it's a genetic fallacy to conclude that because of the source themselves doing something bad, that therefore the whole proposition or what they're doing or everything else in their ideology is bad. That's the fallacy there. That's why you can't do, it's like a version of an ad hominem. That's like saying individuals acting that way.
That's a good question. Well, for example, we can consider what the Pope has said, right? Has the Pope not, and the Pope's not the only one, but for example, we can see that the Pope has specifically condoned slavery. And this went on to be going through the examples, or if you are, but
Marquette, you do
history's
not have to go through any examples. He's on the defense, so
Okay.
you can continue to ask questions.
Okay, well, yeah, the reason I try not to debate religion is because it requires you to lie.
That neither group can demonstrate which one's right or wrong, you would then be admitting that the Bible doesn't clearly teach your position, and so you can't actually refer to Ephesians. So that's another fallacy. It's a non-sense.
For example, I referenced the Dutch Reformed Church. They developed theological defenses of apartheid. You can see scholar Johan Theron on.
So I understand your position, but you'll have your 15 minutes to address that on your time.
Yeah.
So I'll just let this play out for 2 more minutes here.
Sure. Go ahead, ask it again.
What I just said, the last thing I said before the time ran out. That's what we're on.
Remind me what it was.
A guy as smart as you, you're a really deep thinker. I mean,
why are you bringing insults up? I've been
No,
nothing but-
no,
I've been
I
nothing but
just said a
terrible
guy
to
as
you.
smart as you, you're a really deep thinker. What I'm saying is that you're highly intelligent. You know.
I actually predicted before this that this would go into all sorts of filibustering and meta debates, and that this guy wouldn't really sort of stick to the topic. Kind of happened. Not as much as I thought it would, but it kind of did happen.
Know what I said. You understand perfectly well.
You can't restate it. People do this in debates all the time.
Yeah.
Can you can't restate the question?
For the 5th time, huh?
Yeah, fine. For the 10th time, it doesn't matter. Restate it, please. You want me to say that that Christians have done wrong actions? I already admitted that in the opening statement. Yes, they have.
You ready for a question?
It's like the Black Brian Shapiro.
Are you?
Quite has, but hopefully he has some time to stay a little bit longer because this is a great conversation. And we have over 2,000 people in here watching.
You even mentioned Orthodox Christianity. There are examples of Orthodox Christianity. You look at the Romanian principalities of Wallachia and Moldavia.
Did you just Google that?
My hands are right here. How can I Google it? You haven't
Your
seen me
hands
typing
were
at all.
Googling a minute ago. What do you mean? Like you can't Google that?
You haven't seen me typing at all. So anyways, and again, what's that, an ad hominem attack you're referencing?
No,
earlier?
it's a question of...
It's not an ad hominem attack. He's just clarifying if he's Googling it. Trying to sound smart.
Principalities of Wallachia and Moldavia.
We have over 2,000 people in here watching.
You even mentioned Orthodox Christianity. There
looks at screen.
are examples of Orthodox Christianity. You look at the Romanian principalities of Wallachia and Moldavia.
Did you just Google that?
My hands are right here. How can I Google
Your
it?
hands
Typing
were
at all.
Googling a minute. No, I didn't argue that. I said that it's a genetic fallacy.
That's brutal. Brutal.
And I'll tell you my answer. My answer is to why is genocide bad? I don't have an answer because I don't have a system to defend. So now.
So then how can you say that it's universally wrong to engage in these activities?
Right. Very good. So you're saying that the genocide that occurred under Christians may not be wrong. Is that your suggestion?
No, I'm saying why, if I adopt your system, is it wrong?
You're not adopting my system. I never
I am
said
in
that I
this
have a
argument.
system. I
It's an
never
internal
proposed a
critique.
system. So again, you're
An
lying.
internal critique of your argument.
creating
Why
a
audit?
straw man. You're lying. I never said I had a system. I've not established.
Everybody has a
any-
system.
I've
What
never
do you mean?
established any criteria.
It's
We're talking about
impossible to not have
Christianity.
a system.
And what we're observing is that
You
your
appeal to
inability to
ethics.
defend the actual
Hold on.
behaviors.
You do have a
now
system.
you're trying to
You're
go on the
lying.
attack. You cannot
lying
defend.
because
So now
you're
you're
saying
trying
you
to
don't
attack.
have a
It's very
system when
simple.
you
Fellas, one mic at a time. Let one another speak. Go ahead.
Not in
And I'll tell you.
So I wouldn't mind getting more clips from that. Maybe we'll go through it a bit more on tomorrow's stream. Maybe get some other clips from that Marquette guy. Kind of annoying, bit of a douchebag if we're honest. But good on him for stepping up to do the debate at least. Like to see it rather than just saying how great he is at debating. We're going to raid over to Normal America with Rob Knorr, guys. I have to head off. Got to eat something at some point. So going to head over to Rob Knorr. Want to wish you guys an amazing evening, day, wherever you are. Peace out, guys. Much love to you all, and I'll see you all tomorrow. Make sure to like the stream on the way out. See you later.